as of right now, I'm an IGL and I've IGL 2 seasons. The role of an IGL is just to lead your duo or your trio through the game and just do good calls to where's the best spot for search, where's the best spot to position up, and just to know everything about the game. I think you should always try to get an IGL because there's barely any good IGLs in the world or in Europe, but there's so many fraggers. So if you're a good IGL, you will be picked by one of the best fraggers in the world, and it will do you much easier.
You need to watch your games, you need to analyze them, and also you need to watch pro players to understand how to IGL, and like the best way is to analyze your mistakes.
It doesn't really matter what loadout an IGL is carrying. He should just carry an AR and a pump, and just make sure that he's always there for his teammates, and can always drop them shields as well, obviously.
So in my team, I'm most likely the fragger, and the task of the fragger is like to go for eliminations and bring the items from the eliminations to the IGL, and the IGL can go on the game.
The role of the fragger is basically to always get frags in an end game and make sure to get enough refreshes to drop to the Tapa.
So what makes the fragger good is like, don't be scared, you need to be confident.
Like for example Vino, he is very good fragger, he has very good mechanics, like he can easily box someone and eliminate.
For the best loadout for the fragger is like 2 weapons and 3 healings. It's like, it depends if what you rather play. Is it assault rifle or SMG? So if you play SMG, play SMG. If you want to play assault rifle, play assault rifle.
I think I'll be good at this because I know the map pretty well.
I'm very confident to win because I know every single spot at the map.
Yeah, I think I know the map, so I think it will be easy.
I know very well the map.
This looks like, I think this is maybe a basement in Greasy.
It's left from Reality Falls.
Okay, 100% is Greasy Grow. I know this one.
I think it's maybe in the new POI with the mushroom. Oh, Greasy Groove!
Greasy Groove, what? Oh my god.
Yes, let's go.
Oh my, let's go.
Tilted Towers.
Ah, I know where it is. It's Tilted Towers.
I think it's Tilted Towers, if I'm not wrong.
I don't know fully. I'm just gonna say Tilted. Nah, I'm just too good.
I wasn't like sure 100%.
I was 100% sure, like Tilted got destroyed. It looks like Rave Cave.
I don't know. I'll go with Sanctuary, like somewhere on islands.
I'm just gonna say Condo.
Oh, it's easy. Sanctuary, in the beach on the Sanctuary.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Okay, let's go. What? How am I doing this?
No, I knew it was somewhere near the islands, man.
It's easy. It's Synapse Station.
It has to be Synapse Station.
The Synapse Station. Synapse Station.
This is on the Synapse Station.
Oh my, I got it right again.
Okay, that was easy.
Yeah, I do it.
Maybe it's Logjam.
So it's like basically the new POI. So I'll go with the Reality Falls.
Logjam Lumberyard, or what is called?
This is Logjam because of the Crackshot house.
What? No way. What?
Yes.
Yeah, I do it.
Yeah.
I thought I was like about to do 505, but
Unlucky for me, I guess.
Some picture was really, really hard, but another picture is really easy.
It was really hard, but I think I did good.
I think I'd be near the top 100%, maybe even first with 4 out of 5 right.
What is going on, Fortnite fam? After 2 weeks, we are back. We've missed you all so much. It's that time, though. 50 of the best duos from all over Europe will go head-to-head for their lion's share of not only prize money, but the Axe of Champions 2.0. Buckle up! This is day 1 of the EU FNCS Finals.
It's what you have all been waiting for. EU FNCS Finals Day 1. Many familiar faces will, over the next 2 days, compete for the glorious title of FNCS Champion and claim the Axe of Champions 2.0. Queasy and Vano are a duo we can't ignore. This powerhouse combo of both Season 1 and Season 2 champions are looking strong. Will they take home another FNCS championship? Kami and Seti will be a dominant duo, with incredible performances throughout the chapter already, both at online and in-person events. This team will be going for first place. Tayson and Chapix are out here with the most combined championships under their belt. However, being contested off-spawn might make the road to victory a bumpy one. Will they succeed and be victorious after this weekend? Anything can happen. Get ready. This is day 1 of the EU FNCS Finals.
It's just so good to be back. I'm telling you, we've missed you all so very dearly. But we're here. We're here for the finals. The competition has only gotten that much more difficult. And you know, all of these duos are feeling the pressure. But I need some help to help break all of this down, so you know them. It's your favorite analyst. It's the best taco. It's Reese Hub.
Bang, bang, boom. Hold him up. Nice. She didn't look scared enough.
She didn't look scared enough.
Yeah.
She knew.
I should have done you.
Anyway, guys, we're finally here after 2 weeks. I mean, we know coming from qualifiers, coming from semifinals, finals is a very different animal altogether.
It is. I mean, this is where all the prize money is. This is where all the pressure is, of course. This is where it actually matters for the majority of these players. And they've had a little bit extra time to prep, so I'm hoping we're going to actually see something pretty special this weekend.
But I do have to feel that this is where a lot of these duos can also thrive, because pressure is not a circumstance that most of them are unfamiliar with.
I like that. We're going to be breaking down a bunch of stuff for you guys, but first, let's talk about that broadcast schedule. What has kind of gotten us here? So we've come from 3 qualifiers. We had 3 days of semifinals. And now today and tomorrow, we're here for one last ride to wrap up the competition from Chapter 3, Season 3. Of course, we need to recap in case you're tuning in. You're like, wait, semifinals, what about all this stuff? How did we get here? We've got help. They will help break us down. Come on in, it's our in-game team, none other than the miniest of the miners, Tokata and Levin2K. Mini Miner will be your in-game analyst. Tokata and Levin2K will be your casters. Again, I'm so excited to be here, Mini Miner. Finals are just like the best time of Fortnite.
Yeah, it's the best day. I mean, day number 1 is always off to a great start as well. Hopefully for some of these teams, they can have a great start. I'm very excited to get started with all the action because, oh boy, is it going to be exciting.
Oh, yeah. So why don't we help the viewers at home kind of get up to speed on all things that happened in the semifinals? If you missed out, if you didn't tune in, we've got you covered. Mini Miner, take it away.
Thank you so much, Zeke. Yes, let's just recap some of the semi-finals, of course. Let's start off with semi-final number 1, the natural place to start. Of course, we had these 5 teams making their way through via the Victory Royales in semi-final number 1. Of course, Vidil and Janice. I mean, what a game for them.
This is a duo to look out for, right? They have Greasy Grove uncontested, but the issue is they do have Noah Riley and Reason down southwest of Greasy playing that grapple split, so they have to be cautious because if they're not, some danger might come out in the Greasy Grove.
But again, there's more duos than just these two lurking in the water, and that's going to be Nebs and Marine, although it's going to be more of a party, I think, over at the Rave Cave.
Absolutely, of course. This is not just the way to qualify. You know, there is more ways, of course, the consistency as well. We can see the top 6 teams that did make their way through via semi-finals 1 all the way here to the finals. Starting off with Flois, I mean, in 2nd place. What a great performance from them.
Right, Flois and Hellfire. This is a duo that originally was dropping at the Coney Crossroads, but has switched it up to the east side of the map, close to that mighty monument at a grapple glove split and contested. So they have to be careful because being on the edge of the map and also contested, that's difficult.
Yeah, but it's impossible not to think about Loot Boy Frey and Flixie. From what we were seeing throughout this entire competition so far, they have really been on the up and up, not just with their gameplay, but I think also in the public's hearts. It's so much fun watching these two in action.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see how they do today, of course, as well. But let's take a look at some of the stats that did go down. Let's take a look at the session summary from semi-final number 1. Of course, 15 eliminations from Michael Zakata. That is a big number.
But what's also big is the more than 5,000 damage from Gunbree. I was talking about Flois and Hellfire being contested. They're contested by Gunbree and his duo partner, so I'm excited to see what that damage done if he can do the same in the finals now.
And given a lot of the changes to the Storm Surge, it's interesting to see that Michael was still maintaining that top builds play, so obviously being able to keep track of his management for those mats.
Absolutely. Semifinals number 1 was incredible, but I want to learn a little bit more about semifinals number 2. Zeke has got all the answers to all my questions.
Thank you guys so much. So let's take a look at semifinal number 2. Which of the next set of duos came through? I didn't mean to rhyme there. Of course I did. So remember, this is just the Victory Royales. These are the duos that made it through. They got themselves that VR, and they said, we're punching our ticket to finals.
Of course, the first one, game number 1, was Marco and Climbry. And what's honestly the most interesting thing about this is the fact that they weren't even in a set lobby throughout the entire FNCS. This is the first one they made it to, and they won it. 100% success rate.
Talk about in and out, right? That's exactly how you want your semi-finals to go. I had my eyes on Joe and Ziandi. This is a team that many people wouldn't have even expected to see in the semi-finals, right? They were so close on day 1, literally would have made it if they didn't oversleep, but eventually rolled through in day 2.
Of course, they were 9th last season as well, so they've put in a huge performance already. They've looked good. We've got to keep seeing how they do today.
I know, and so that was just the Victory Royales. Remember, there's still this consistency factor, so let's take a look at which 6 duos came through from there. At the top, it's going to surprise you. Mr. Hen and Savage. Consistency? What?
It's a big surprise to you, me, and everybody around the world because this is a team that struggled leading up to this round, but with some added coaching to their setup, they looked a lot stronger.
I mean, we talked about them. Qualifier 1, Qualifier 2, Qualifier... And we just kept going on. It was the same story. They're playing as solos. They're not working together as a team. And I'm so happy that they pulled it together. I really do want to see how they're doing now in the finals when it all matters, though.
Yeah, but I think a team that, as well, people will be looking for in the final, Noah and Reason. What can this team do? Because they're another example of a team, very massive names, fan favorites, I should say, but haven't quite had the best of seasons.
If remember, back Chapter 2, Season 5, like last year, over a little bit longer than that ago, if these guys are in your lobby, you're terrified, you're scared, you're not going anywhere near them, and they don't really seem to have that firepower right now. So I want to see that from them in this finals.
That's right, man. I'm telling you, if that flame comes back alive, look out, everybody else. We'll take a look at our summary of semifinal number 2. Once again, though, my favorite part, the duo that we question coming through consistency, Hen and Mr. Savage, have taken 2 of the 4 stats.
Look, I mentioned how in semi-final 2 they started getting some help coaching-wise, and so they looked much more prepared, right? They had more of a strategy, more of a plan, but they didn't lose their firepower. That was the most important part, still popping off in that lobby.
I mean, similarly now, though, this is a higher quality lobby. Can they really do that against the higher caliber players? I hope so, because I want to see it. We're fans, despite what people may think, but we want to see it.
Thank you guys so much for that breakdown of semifinal day number 2. Mini Miner, talk about semifinal 3.
Semi-final 3, the final chance, the last chance saloon for these teams. And oh boy, I want to talk about, of course, the top 6 teams that did make their way through via Victory Royales only. Vaniac, the solo clutch. Just tell me more.
It was incredible.
It was.
Right? One of the most insane solo clutches in Fortnite competitive history. But it's not about a solo clutch in the finals. It's about that consistency. 12 matches to be played out. So although they got a nice solo clutch to qualify, I want to see Vaniac and Karmi playing consistent.
Plenty of rounds to work through, but someone who didn't have to work through many rounds was actually Adian and Hardfine. I mean, they are the one and done special. They did not have a hard time finding their place here in the FNCS finals since they just made it through in the first round.
Absolutely. And once again, it's not just Victory Royales that can get yourself through. It is the final opportunity via consistency as well. We can see the top 6 teams that did make their way to the finals. I mean, looking at some of the names right here, we've got Karma, we've got Freemock as well, another great team on the list. Takata, talk to me about these guys.
Yeah, this is interesting. So Freemock and Fakey are going to the finals contested by Vortex and Chris. This has been a battle that's been going on for a while now, but both of these duos qualified being uncontested because when they were contested, they weren't doing so great. So hopefully now in the finals, I mean, we're going to see action, but it's going to be the duo that comes out on top in that action that is able to get a good placement.
Yeah, see, but I've got my eyes on Vico and Jackson because they actually had a really rough time about it here, barely squeaking through in that 6th place position. And they could thank the Kebab Boys for that Victory Royale they were able to find in the final round to actually push these two into the leaderboard position to find themselves in the finals, but I know they've got the potential to make it happen here.
I want to see that today. I want to see their potential really come through. Of course, you guys already know what's next. It's the session summary. Let's pull up the numbers. Let's pull up the stats. What went down? I mean, once again, 16 eliminations for Yapko. Of course, the least damage taken, though, Takata. Not a stat we talk about too much, but it could be very, very useful.
It could be, but look at this. Damage dealt by Pablo. That's the most damage dealt we've seen in all 3 semifinals. So if he can keep that up in the finals, I mean, that's going to be impressive.
It just showcases the fact that Pablo is definitely keeping good track of his surge management as well throughout, so that could be a threat to a lot of these other duos in finals.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for the breakdown of all of the semi-finals events. Now it's time to get on with the show. Zeke, take it away.
Thank you guys so much, and a huge shout out to the crew. That was what happened during semifinals, but now we have to focus back in to the finals themselves. Let's kind of keep the conversation going. Let's talk about the format itself. Reese and Taco, over to you.
We've looked into the past, now let's look into the present. This is what we are going through. We are in the finals. Beautifully demonstrated by Taco in the end. Thank you very much. We've had 15 duos from the qualifiers, 35 that we just broke down there in the semis. And we actually have a 2-day event for you. So we're currently in day number 1. This is going to consist of 6 games. Tomorrow, we're going to pick right up where we left off at the end of today with another 6 games. So 12 in total. It may end earlier than that if we reach the match point, which is basically over 475 points total with 3 Victory Royales. I highly doubt we're going to see that, though.
It's definitely going to be tough for some of these players to accrue these points, but Victory Royales can definitely help out. It's a fat 32 points for these duos that are able to find themselves in first place. Keep in mind, though, each elimination an additional 2 points apiece, so some of these duos can really find themselves surging upwards in the leaderboards that way, but 36 or less, you're kind of in a tough spot because you might not get any part of that prize pool if you're not getting any points.
That's right. You know, these players are looking to hit that prize money now. We'll remind you guys at home, this is just a breakdown for EU. We have 7 regions all competing, but in EU, $300,000 for that duo that can come in first place, and they will take hold of the Active Champions 2.0. Now, we're going to talk more about this duo in just a minute, but let me introduce you. This is In the Lobby with Queasy.
What's happening, everybody? My name's Levin2K, and I am back in the lobby with the one and only Queasy. Queasy, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing great.
All right, well, look, you are obviously somebody who is renowned in the Fortnite scene as one of the best players there is, but I want to take it all the way back to the beginning. How did you actually get into Fortnite?
I started from a gaming cafe back in the day. Started playing the game a lot and eventually got good at it. Started playing some of the early tournaments like skirmishes and stuff. And then from there, like, just went up and here I am.
When was the moment you realized I might actually be a top player? Maybe I can be a Fortnite pro.
So at the start, I was aiming to be a streamer. I was streaming like basically everything, and I think around Share the Love time, that's when I got my first good placement. I realized that I could actually be going into like full competitive mode, and I started like playing scrims and everything every single day and trying my best to achieve what I did.
Of course, I mentioned the fact that you've won an FNCS, right? Tell me about that feeling. What do you remember about that experience in that tournament?
It was amazing. Like winning FNCS was one of the best moments of my career, definitely. my goal always was like to qualify for Grands, and then whatever happens, and the feeling was still amazing, but it was like I expected it, kind of.
All right, when it comes to your career, obviously you've had a very long career. When you look over and how things have gone, what do you want to achieve next?
I want to win a LAN tournament for sure, and I want to win more FNCSs and hopefully World Cup or something of that kind. That would be amazing.
We have a big tournament coming up in FNCS. You know, you obviously want to try and win again. What are you looking to improve on from a personal perspective now?
I think I got this meta on lock. The only thing that I'm hoping is some item changes that happen, and then we'll see, I guess, from there.
It's been an absolute pleasure being able to chill in the lobby with you. Where can the people find you? What are your socials?
Queasy on Twitch and QueasyFN on Twitter.
Thank you very much, guys. It's been Levin2k and Queasy in the lobby. See you guys all soon.
Thank you so much to Queasy for hanging out, just getting to know who you are. Very exciting. Now we're going to be focusing on Queasy and his dual partner, Vino. For a lot of us here on the show and a lot of the community, these guys were a front runner to win the FNCS. Reese, what makes them so good?
I mean, there's so many things that make them so good, but just the accolades, number one. Queasy won Chapter 3 Season 1. Vino won Chapter 3 Season 2. They've now come together like a PB&J sandwich. Two beautiful elements combined together to hopefully rise to the top and succeed.
It's hard not to put this duo as a classic fan favorite, I think, for winning this FNCS Finals, given the fact that you have the best IGL, like you just mentioned, Reese, and one of the best fraggers. And it's been so impressive because you would think that this duo has been together for much longer than what it appears.
And that's pretty much just because the players that they replaced on their previous teams played pretty much the same role. You know, previously, Queasy was playing with Hen, who was a really aggressive fragger, one of the best in the region. And then Vino was playing with Aqua, an incredible IGL who mainly plays on high ground. So they're kind of just replacing each other with different versions of those same players. And hey, it seems to be working out absolutely fantastic.
You'll love to see it, man. I'm telling you, we'll have eyes on this duo because they could very well win it all. But we'll keep the conversation going. We're going to have to talk about another duo, Sammy.
Sammy.
I mixed their names.
Big ol' Sammy.
Cammy and Seti. Yeah, there you go. I just do that in my head all the time. Cammy and Seti, thank you so much. These guys just won the most recent DreamHack, right? So coming in first and second place, and now they're here to play once again.
Yeah.
What do we need to know about them?
I mean, one of the things you need to know about them, obviously, they have a consistent playstyle, right? They need to basically hit really consistent playstyle, top 5 every kind of game. But the thing is, in a 12-game format, in order to actually win the entire tournament, they need to play perfectly. And that's what we saw in Chapter 2 Season 8 when they ended up winning in a trios event. But again, I've seen some not perfect things from them this season.
And given that they're going to be dropping in the notorious Cammy split, it'll be really interesting to see how these rotations actually break down for this duo, because they are going to have some company, Reese. I'm particularly keeping an eye over by Sanctuary because of you got DKS and Deceptos, Comic and Blatcha that I think could really pose some threat to this duo.
There's a lot of people to the south that they can fight as well, and I know that they're going to be doing everything that they can to be able to win. They turn over every stone. Like, I'm sure these are the guys who look at the terms of services and actually read them, right, to figure out anything they can to possibly win.
That's right. Of course, we continue the conversation. So we showed you the first 25 duels and where they qualified through. This is the second set, right? These are all the players we'll be seeing compete today. Next up, Malabuka and Murstache. We know Malabuka just won the Gamers 8 tournament that just happened, but he was paired up with Epic Whale from NA West. So now you're like, okay, we pair him up with someone like Murstache. The stopping power is crazy.
Yeah, let's not, obviously, we can talk up Malabuka all we want. He's one of the best players, probably the star boy of maybe this year, I would say. But Murstache himself is absolutely, probably, I don't want to say the best fragger, but when combined with Malabuka, like, there's no one else who can frag out like him right now. It's so impressive.
And something else that's really exciting about this duo is that they're actually going to be uncontested off that initial drops point, and that might be one of the first times ever that we're seeing this duo not have to worry about fighting it out early on. And that's really dangerous for the rest of this lobby, Reese, because anytime these guys make it into the late game, they just win.
They're not contested off spawn. This is the first finals ever they're not contested, which is really exciting. But what's really interesting is they're just going to fight anyway. We'll break it down later, but we're still going to see a lot of action from these guys, trust me.
That's right. And again, like, we're just throwing duos your way because there's so much talent we'll be seeing compete over the next 2 days. One last one to talk about, it's Thomas HD and Tripper. And we talk about stopping power. I feel like this is the other side of that coin.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, if you look back through Thomas HD, the last 3 FNCS he played, third, and third. And he's not ever managed to win an FNCS himself. He's actually the most successful player to never win an FNCS, I would say. 6 top 5 placements. So, like, it's time, you know?
Third time's the charm, and this time Thomas HD is looking for first place, like you just said, Reese. But not only that, Thomas HD, everybody knows him as the guy who carries. He can clutch it out, but what we saw out of Trippern throughout qualifiers for this duo was really just impressive. It seems as though Trippern has really come into his own element as a part of this duo and is really solidifying himself, I think, as a player that teams need to look out for.
Definitely, and like, you know, I'm hyping up Thomas to start with, but you're very, very right. Trippern is so good, and I love now that I think a lot of the community are also putting their respect on Trippern's name too. They won the Cash Cup this week, and historically, the last 2 seasons, the team who wins the Cash Cup right before FNCS also wins the FNCS finals. So if these guys win, hey, we've got some weird, spooky stuff happening.
I love it. Yeah. So we've kind of talked about the duos. Why don't we talk about a head-to-head matchup? Let's go this way. So we've left one name out of the conversation. Tayson. Right. He's going up against X-Squeeze over at Loot Lake. Now, the question becomes, how do we anticipate this going? Because when we throw around a name like Tayson, I mean, this guy's one of the best players of...
He's the best.
He is the best.
You don't say he's one of the best. He's the best.
He's the best.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why he's got the ones.
I think when you're looking at this, you're going to go, Tayson wins an off-spawn fight. You just put it down. It's Tayson and Champions. They just win. They're the 2 of the best players. The best duo this season. I'm just going to say that 100%. However, look at the scores. Off-spawn score, 2 to Tayson, 3 to X-Squeeze. This Cash Cup this week, we saw this fight happen, and that's the way it went. And that other one, you're wondering what happened there. Well, we'll break into that in a little second. But let's see actually how it breaks down, right? On that drop spot, north side of Loot Lake, they're essentially just like 50-50ing up here. Both are just fighting on that top drop spot, and it's going to be an interesting one, let's put it that way.
Definitely expecting it to get pretty scrappy here for Tayson and Chapix because of Podesai and X-Squeeze directly being able to challenge them, but you can't ever count out Tayson. And not only that, Reese, but he's looking for the full Cinderella story here. Chapter 3, Season 1, he's in 3rd. Chapter 3, Season 2, he's in 2nd. So, if we're following a theme here, it's hard not to believe that Tayson isn't trying to gun immediately for this first place position here in Chapter 3, Season 3. And if he's able to find it, he would have the trios win, he'd have the solos win, and that just means the duos win. That's the total trifecta.
Exactly, and this right here is what I alluded to a second ago. There's that one other fight out of the 6 games. What happened? Well, guess who's right next to them? Malabuk and Mustache. We told you, these guys are uncon off spawn. They do not care. They are going to push people right next to them anyway, and that's a smart play. If you're a top team and you need some damage, you need some Storm Surge, you find a team who's contested right around you. And for Malabuka, unfortunately, that's Tayson and X-Squeeze fighting right to the north of them.
All these alphas finally going head-to-head, man. The action will be unreal. Let's rejoin our in-game team as we kind of round it out and talk about predictions. We have to talk about which duos we think at the end of the competition could walk away champions. So, I'll go ahead and start us off. It's not that hard for me personally. It's Janus and Vidil. I mean, Reese, we've kind of had some time talking about this, and I know that RNG sometimes doesn't favor them, but even when it doesn't, they still perform well.
Yeah, they did in their semis and actually in the qualifiers. They had a bunch of zones that were max distance, and they did really, really well in those zones anyway. So I'm impressed the fact they usually managed to take some fights in those particular zones, maybe on the dead side.
Look, the Scrim Bucks are definitely favoring Janus for sure. They've been performing really well in that, and so a solid pick there.
Okay, all right, what do you got then, Levin?
Me, Percy, I'm going with Queasy and Venom. I think this is a team that, in theory, right, when you're just looking at names, it seems unfair, right? Queasy, best IGL, Venom, best fragger. It's a match made in heaven.
Look, that's a great pick, but I'm going with the most consistent duo in Fortnite competitive currently, Seti and Cammy. They got a trio championship in Chapter 2, Season 8, but now they want to do it in duos. They're hungry, and they're going to feast.
Me and Levin are on the same page, we're on the same wavelength. Our brains, big. Our knowledge, immense. Our picks, incredible. And they will win because we picked them, and they're very good at the game, basically. They're also quite good at the game. But no, they're incredible.
I was going to say, so is this now the Mini Minor 11-2K guarantee?
Stop combining these guarantees.
I'm just saying, they don't want to put the mark on it.
I will. I'm gonna be honest. I agree with your pick. I agree with Queasy and Vino, but I'm not picking them. I'm going with Malabuk and Mustache because I want them to win. That's it. There's no analytical things to put in this. I just want them to win.
Listen, Reese, you're talking about all that third partying potentially for Malabuka and Mustache, but Thomas HD and Tripper, and they don't need the third party. They're just going to take it from the get-go. This is an aggressive duo. They've been on fire as of late, especially with their recent Cash Cup win, like you just mentioned. So excited to see what they have for us.
can't even mock your opinion this time. I just kind of agree with you. Like, yeah, these are all good picks.
That's your fault
now. I know.
They've all become so powerful here. But this is it. I think it's that time. The battle bus is ready to go. And I know what you guys at home are all ready to see. It's the games. I'm telling you, buckle up. These are going to be some of the most exciting games you will see in all of Fortnite. So here we go. Game 1 of the FNCS Finals.
Game 1.
It's been a long time coming. Season thus far, but we are now at the finale, day 1 of the FNCS final. My name's Levin2K, alongside me Takata to break down all of the top action from Eve.
3 qualifiers, 3 days of semifinals, and with a short break now, it's time for the finals. These players have been getting ready. This is it. Now's the moment.
The big thing for all these players is making sure your hard work, all your preparation now comes into fruition. There's been countless amounts of hours to rendezvous, practice, play in the server, but now it's all about the 6 games today and tomorrow as well. Can you wake up on the right side of the bed and execute at the highest level?
Look, you said it yourself. Studying is important, but what's so interesting about these 2-day formats is anything can change. You can study the whole drop map, all the routes from your opponents, everything. But after game 1, you get a new duo dropping close by. You get a switch up on some routes. Anything can happen, and you have to be ready to adapt.
Look, we've had a long year of competitive Fortnite, and so a lot of these players are names that are very familiar to the stage. And once again, we'll try and use this opportunity to prove to everybody that they are the ultimate duo. And I think for the teams who maybe have had a taste of that glory before, can you now come back in and repeat that level of dominance as well?
Look, we have a lot of opponents that are in this lobby, but some of them are also being contested. We have Katie and Chavik in the center of the map, but this is being contested by Protosai and X-Squeeze. There's so many top duos that are contested in these finals. I'm curious to see what they do, but the battle bus is ready, the engine is started, and the players are dropping.
And it's live. We have the FNCS final ready for you here today. All the players beginning to leave the battle bus and get ready for what will be grueling action all across the board.
Taking a look quickly, we have Joe, we have Z, Andy. They should have this drop spot around the Synapse station uncontested. They were contested before, but now Fakey Fremont. Chris and Vortex going head-to-head in the Reality Falls, but what I like about this engagement is they're not taking the 50-50. They're both dropping on their own side of Reality. I believe Vortex and Chris are getting the high ground with the Reality Falls tree, and then they take the engagement after. And it's still going on, though. It could be an issue if they take too long, but Cammy and Seti now, great position. Close to tilted towers, they do have their split uncontested, a lot of time to prepare for the late game.
I think the big thing for Cammy and Seti is doing what they do best, starting off the day hot. They are a team that historically will always be in and around first place after day one of 2-day competitions. It's their specialty. And we'll see if that trend continues across today. I'm sure they'll certainly hope so.
That's what you want to see, right? We saw their most recent performance in Gamers 8, Seti and Cammy. They were first place day one, but day two was where it got a little rumbly, little crumbly, little dangerous. But hopefully they can make something happen in these finals, as now we look back to the center of the map. Merstash and Malibuka. Looks like they didn't fully engage into the third party from Tayson and Chapik, as both duos, they're still up.
I think the big thing for Malibuka and Merstash is that when you know, Tayson and Chapik are the ones to win that fight, they probably won't want to, you know, insta-engage and take the fight on them, right? Even if the opportunity arises, a bit of respect there maybe between two top teams, but that won't stop them from looking to take advantage, like you saw there on your screen, where they will look to take shots, get some tags. It all goes a long way when trying to get ahead of Storm Surge.
Ooh. But Chicho, Trulex, sorry, Rocky Reels, and other engagement that we're seeing on this map against Kha'Zix and 4ZR. This is the type of duo that they're not going to stop until this engagement is over, as now Chicho and Trulex do have the positional advantage in this engagement, but the issue is, when you're battling around a building like this, finding that angle is just that much more difficult. There's a lot more builds, there's a lot more structures, and it's not ones that you or your opponents can edit, other than the box you made inside. We can see Chicho and Trulex going for the more sneaky route, trying to crouch around, find an angle, unable to connect the big shot, but the shots continue as now they get closer and closer. This engagement gets more and more dangerous.
Yeah, I'm sure Chicho and Trulex in particular will maybe be feeling a bit disrespected. He renounced himself as the Rocky Reels owner, but right now they don't own anything other than a couple shots at the hands of Kha'Zix and 4ZR. This is a team that has bullied so many players out of Rocky Reels all chapter long, but when the Frenchies come knocking, I don't think they have an answer right now. The only answer will be to go back to the lobby and think about where things went wrong, because Chicho and Trulex will go down in game one.
Knock, knock, who's there? It's 4ZR Kha'Zix. Looks like they're at the disadvantage, but be careful of third party. Pink and Nos coming in now. This is incredibly dangerous for Kha'Zix and 4ZR. They were feeling so happy, but for just a millisecond, as now Pink and Nos, the good news is they don't know how that engagement ended. They don't know if they have a lot of shields, if they're cracked, if they're ready or not to take an engagement, and Pink and Nos don't want to take this risk. You can see the loot, the chug splashes, everything they have for the late game. They do not want to risk it on one little engagement.
Yeah, Pink and Nas, a team that maybe many people aren't talking enough about. A team that over the course of this season has shown such great evolution. Once were renowned for being game winners, but ones who couldn't do it with plenty of eliminations. This season, they've added a certain level of aggression and fighting prowess to their game that makes them such a multifaceted threat. And especially now that they're not contested off spawn at the Joneses, definitely my biggest sleeper pick to maybe win it, or a dark horse team for sure. And so keep your eyes on those two.
But at the Rave Cave, it looks like there's still a little bit going on. Down below, I believe we saw Sangild and his duo partner there, kind of in a scruffle, as one of them was already eliminated. I'm curious to see what happened to Tripper and Thomas. Not sure if they got knocked out as well, but for ADN and Hardfind, look at the positioning they have, kind of giving a little crown to the Rave Cave up top on the teddy bears. Now they'll have much more vision around their surroundings, looking for shots as we switch back over to Hen and Mr. Savage being contested by Vico and Jackson, but it looks like they're looking for an opening here.
Still can't believe you said teddy bears, mate. That's a cuddle team leader to you, my friend. Of course, over at Tilted Towers, Hen and Mr. Savage, definitely a fan favorite in this lobby. And if you go back in EU FNCS history, with Mr. Savage being in such close proximity to Malibuka Mustache, This is two teams, or two entities at least, that used to go at each other non-stop way back in the day over at Steamy Stacks. It was a lot of awkward engagements, we'll say, at that POI in FNCS finals of the past. We haven't really had to deal with each other much in this chapter, but if they're not careful, they might run into each other at Tilted Towers.
I love the finals. I mean, just after getting that bird's eye view and Tilted, you see Hen, Mr. Savage, you see Murstache, Malibuka, you see Seti, Cammy, all these players close by, and then switch over to Noah, Riley, and Reason. The level in this lobby is at an all-time high, and now with the zone being pulled more to the north side of the map here, the duos with the Rave Cave, they're happy.
Yeah, of course, like you said, the level is so high in this lobby, but there are so many teams who aren't familiar with this stage, right? The likes of Pachawa and Chari, they have no experience in the FNCS final. Can they adapt to this situation? I actually want to find out if they can. So we're going to bring in Mini Miner to give us some insight, man. Are they able to adapt in this lobby, Mini?
They're doing so very well at the moment, Levin. They're in the middle of the map. Just contested nearby is Cammy and Seti. Now, what they're doing really, really well is overbuilding in the center of the map. There's so many eyes looking at them for Surge, and that is the result. If you don't build, if you don't use that wood, that is the result. And who's lurking nearby? As I said, it is Seti. It is Cammy. They'll be looking to use their incredible aim to farm Surge tags. So great job from these guys early on. Let's see if that can continue throughout. And you guys wanted a little Trippin update. Trippin is currently just swimming out in the ocean, as you can see right now, just about surviving. Will he make it into the late game? We'll have to wait and see.
Thank you very much. We're going to see he's actually looking for the reboot, which is very, very nice for this team. The Danes will still have a fighting chance in this game. And of course, a big thank you to Mini Man. We're going to have him dropping us some hot updates all across the next 12 games, thankfully. So where our eyes can't reach to Carter, Mini will be able to bring us some information.
What do you love to see, right? We were curious to what was happening with Tripper and Thomas. Boom, there you go. We have the info, rebooted. Faith restored is now Michael and Astro here. A duo that is contested, or should be contested, in the Daily Bugle, but it looks like they got out of it without any eliminations. I'm curious to see what happened in the early game there, but now they have the loot, they have the shields, and even Astro looking to have a good amount of materials, but look, what's on his head?
He's got an ice pack on his head. The UK weather right now, there's a heat wave actually in the UK. I know Astro resides in Manchester, so trying to keep cool in the hot weather, never an easy feat whatsoever, so props to him there, getting a bit creative with things.
You gotta do what you gotta do, right? Sometimes you're playing in some different conditions, different situations, and it's about adapting, right? Not only in-game, but also out-of-game. Is now Dreki Eyedrop actually gonna be using some of their charges to get closer to what's happening in front of them, but you have to be careful. Shots coming from afar, but now the opportunity for the third party, this could be big.
Yeah, you can see they really want to get involved in this fight, but along the way, Juriki taking shots from all different directions, but the goal still remains intact. They want to get into this fight. Ooh. And Marco and Climberry, unfortunately, are going to be the ones that get forced out of the lobby. And now they're going to take shots at Nebs and Marine. Two teams that are very familiar with each other, both in the same friend group. Literally the best of friends outside of the server, but right now they are enemies. And ones that are hungry for the same goal, and that is to claim this loot. You can see Juriki, Eyedrop making sure that they have all of these edits, making sure there is a bit of safety, but when Nebs and Marine are around the corner, there's never any safety there. Two very powerful players.
Both duos hungry, but which one is going to be able to feast? Nebs and Marine did not get those eliminations, and I don't even think they got the loot. Looks like Dreki and Eyedrop, it was worth those charges from the grapple gloves as they did secure the loot from that third party, but now that makes it a bit more dangerous for Nebs and Marine as they used materials in that engagement, used ammunition, and weren't able to recuperate it all. But now Eyedrop Dreki, they're not done yet. Now they have that confidence. They've picked up 2 eliminations. They've got a bit of loot. But Nebs and Marine, they're not too happy. They don't want to let that slide. As now their walls trying to be replaced. The builds, we have to be careful. 70 below with just 10 seconds left until Storm Surge becomes active. Nebs and Marine need to do damage quickly.
Yeah, and these are two teams that very much have similar stories, been through similar things across this chapter. 4 players who very much are talented enough to thrive in FNCS final type lobbies, but 4 players that haven't been able to touch every single one this chapter for different reasons, albeit, but again, this is going to be big weekend for both of these teams. They'll feel like they need to use this opportunity to prove to everybody, to prove to themselves that they deserve to be here. The talent's never been a doubt. It's all about the application.
So it was a great job starting off that engagement with Nebs and Ryan, getting the initial tags, but will they be able to keep it up? We'll look over at what Kuro and Jurdy had to say in the zone here with a quick edit, blocking a shot from 4DR and getting both the eliminations. Jurdy, you're crazy.
Yeah, we saw Forzia and Kezex having a fun time over at Rocky Reels. It seems like that came to an end, unfortunately, for them. So, again, another example where you are just going to have to hit the drawing board. Of course, it is just game 1 of 12, right? So, no need to hit the panic button just yet. But for sure, not the most pleasant of starts. Thomas and Trippin, we know they didn't have the most pleasant of starts either. A bit of a rocky start for them. But now both of them back in the game, just lacking the necessary resources, it seems, right? Thomas doesn't have the best of mats and doesn't have any shields.
Look, it's not a position you want to be in, but they can make it happen. And another position you don't want to be in is the one Nebs and Marine are in. No shields to work with, a disadvantage in the engagement, getting ticked by Storm Surge, everything going downhill. But for iDrop and Jarecki, they need to finish this engagement quickly as they still have to rotate. Looks like Nebs has gone down, Marine as well. Both players down, but now iDrop and Jarecki, the focus is on them. The duos that are already built up in zone, they're going to be shooting back at them, and they have to rotate.
Yeah, and we're seeing an example of that here as Hellfire and Flowis are trying to make their way on in on zone. And the eyes are all on them as they build towards it. And building will be their best bet, the only protection they can have. The shield keg will be huge for getting the Flowis back up. He is looking very, very weak right now. And he does have another one as well. That will go a long way deeper in the game. But they do have to get there, of course.
For Malibuca and Merstash, 62 above. Remember, previously there was some changes to the Storm Surge, making it just that much more strong, having to do more damage now in earlier zones. As Thomas is left alone from Trippering, getting the reboot to now Thomas left alone. Duo partner gone down, no shields to work with to recuperate what they've lost, as that might just have been a gift for Astro and Michael here.
Yeah, more than just a gift, right? A lifeline for them in this game. They were struggling on Surge, and now 164 above is a lot more comfortable of a position for them to be in. And if they can even snag on Thomas, that would be great. He's not going to make it easy for them. You can see building up, but they are ready and waiting. Michael hits a big, big shot there, and they will connect with both Danes. Astro, the one with the finishing blow. Oh dear, Janice, what's happening here? The deal now. Down to 1 HP.
Just one more shot. The deal is still up. His duo partner Janice on the ground, but just one shot away. The deal, Janice go down. Vico Jackson capitalizing, picking up the loot, but you have to be careful. The shots continue, as now they might have gotten a bit of tranquility here, as I don't see any shots coming from afar. But what just happened? That was so quick, Levin.
That all went crazy. I'm not going to lie. We need a replay of that one because I have no clue what just happened. Vico, literally, this is like finding a free llama, right? I know they're not in the competitive mode anymore, but literally just walks into a box of so much loot. Some German on German violence there. Of course, org mates, but will not be mates in the server. One bit. Rico and Jackson taking out Vidil and Janice, who are big favorites, of course, to Carter. And so to see them go down at this stage isn't too great either.
Big names. That's what this lobby's all about. That's what these finals are about. But with 12 matches to be played out, one game isn't going to be the deciding factor so early on. As now Refsguard and Clown, they have what it needs to get the rotate on, and they begin it. The issue is here, not the issue, but what they have to be cautious about is not getting cut off. They have to stay together. If one of the players gets cut off, that could be incredibly dangerous as the rotate has to come through. But for the duos that are already boxed up in the zone, already feeling good on Surge, feeling good on their position, it's all about doing more damage and seeing if you can get a free refresh or a free elim.
iDrop and Jureki now. We know what their playstyle is. They want to be playing up above the skies. They want to be up on height, looking down at everyone from bird's eye view. But if they don't have the necessary resources to do so, which it didn't look like with iDrop's materials, then what is their plan? What will be the route to a victory royale for that team? Is definitely a question mark. For Malibuca and Mustache, the route to a victory royale is going to have to be dealing damage, and that's not something you would have usually associated with them being a weakness. But 71 below on Surge is not a good place to be. They need to get into a box and hit some shots soon, and that's exactly what they're trying to do
Good news is Merstash, the fragger, does have full shield, full health to work with here. Get some nice tags. Still 17 below. The Storm Surge being activated. The danger levels increasing as all the players on this section of the corner of the zone are now in the action as just 2 more shots need to be connected for Merstash. And Malibuka hits the 40 tag. That could be enough. 7 above, but that's not a place that's going to make you comfortable yet.
Yeah, but it's a great start for them, right? They needed to deal damage, and they did. And so if they can continue along that path, maybe there will be hope for them in this game. But there are many other teams that aren't seemingly able to do what it is we just saw those two. And Artskill and T-Chips are certainly one of them, desperately trying to find any opening they can. But with the likes of ADN and Hardfine using armored walls to delay, they are not making it easy at all.
They've got the damage, but with the aggression coming in from the players that don't have it, look what's going on. Armored wall after armored wall. And that's it.
Artskill and T-Chips did not have what it takes to get back into the game, right? They were desperately trying to push their way into a box, and that's something we'll see so much over the course of the 12 games. Teams just desperately trying to deal any sort of damage they can to avoid Storm Surge.
For Tayson and Chapix, though, 223 above, now with an elimination onto Astro. Feeling that much more confident. 3 elims on the board for this duo. Only 20 medium shots, but with the amount of materials, the shotgun, the SMG shots, once they get this rotate in, they can stay close range. They can look for that refresh they need as they continue getting a nice rotate on the side of the map.
And here we have a replay of what exactly Merstash was able to do. Actually the one to deal the finishing blow onto T-Chips, which is so rough for them to. But again, exactly what they needed. And I say that, but they actually looked like they were in a bit of trouble there for a second. They were. That almost got really bad for this team. But as long as they're still in their game to Carter, there's always a fighting chance.
They've made it to the late game now, officially. They got close there. They needed a bit of damage, but now we're here. Game number 1 in the 6th zone. First moving, gonna be pulling southeast on the map here. These players are already looking for the position they want, whether it be up above or whether it be ahead of the zone. Depends what loot they have, depends what they need. As now Vico and Jackson up above, getting incredible tags on the players rotating in. This is an amazing position to start it off.
This is actually such a prime position for them. And completely the opposite you'd say for Anderlecht and Snazy stuck down below. But they've done a great job to try and sneak their way past, and only Snazy was able to make his way on through. And Tayson actually will be the one that takes the return shot and actually fall as well. Chapix left all alone with such low HP. That is just so unfortunate. Tayson would have felt like he was miles away, but still got hit. And Chapix now trying to return the favor, but isn't going to be able to connect with any sort of finishing blow. Snazy's still going to look to run his way on in and giving Flois some problems now.
Snazy as a solo, Chapix as a solo, and now Snazy getting into the box. Great connection. Knock, knock, who's there? Jerky going down as Snazy continues his rotate. 31 builds to work with. Does not have a lot of shields either as Vico and Jackson continue to dominate the high ground, but for Hellfire, he gets that refresh he needs. He recuperates those materials, but now it's about clutching up the placements as a solo.
Snazy is feeling it clearly, but can he continue to keep his team in the game all alone? With the likes of Queasy and Veno lurking about, that's going to become increasingly harder as the zone gets closer and smaller. Seti and Cammy still have a stake in this game, and they certainly are a team to watch out for. You're already seeing them being conservative, making sure they are aware of everything, but they need to be aware of the team on their layer, and Seti deciding to drop down, doesn't want smoke with anybody above him.
Taking the correct layer. Seti, Cammy are going to continue as we switch over to ADN. Hardfine trying to pop the med kit. Makes through his full health here, but for Joe and the Andy, they're ahead of the zone. They're looking around, scouting the situation, seeing if there's an opening. But Vico and Jackson, we saw them still up above. Not sure how much they have connected down below. They have to be careful, but for Hardfine, ADN, they're still going strong.
Hardfine and ADN have snuck their way into this endgame and are looking to try and make some waves. Cammy and Seti trying to find any sort of opening because they are running thin themselves down to just wood, and that's not where you want to be. But for the same, it's Queasy and Veno, and they need Veno to hit a big shot, or maybe Queasy to do it himself, and he will. Seti will be the one that gets snuffed out, and they're hunting for Cammy as well, and he is so attainable. Such low HP for Cammy. Will he be able to handle if Queasy Queasy and Vino come knocking? I don't know. Joe and Ziandi still also in this game, and they're looking to try to find any solos.
The hunt continues, but one of the solos they're looking for, Hellfire, he's down below. He's hiding. He's trying to find the correct route to not get found by one of these hungry duos that want to feast, but for Cammy, he's the one that picks him up. Hellfire gone down. Now Cammy continuing his rotate.
A solo clutch for Cammy in game one would be spectacular, but he doesn't have much to work with. Joe and Ziandi are also trying to find more to work with as they move around the zone. Krusty and Paco, they've managed to shuffle their way all around these players without even being seen, it seems. And for Queasy and Vino, they want to see somebody because they need that shot, they need the materials, and that's exactly what they will get. Cammy eventually will fall, and so for them, it's about doing more of the same. Krusty left as a solo, the Medlist will keep him in, but for not much longer, it will run out, and he now has to sprint his way into zone.
Oh, but will he make it? One more tick goes down. Wexler now, another solo playing it out. There's still so many duos. ADN, sorry, as Belusi now goes in with the hardcore 150, takes him down. It was Vino, now Queasy left alone. He has to be careful here. From all that confidence down, the both players getting eliminated. Belusi, Hydro, what are you doing?
Belusi and Hydro are hitting the biggest shots of their lives right now. For Rico and Jackson, they've literally been up on height with no issues whatsoever. And this might be the perfect timing for them because the team down below is taking a fight. And that will be Joe and Ziandi. They've taken down Hydro and they're looking to snuff out Belusi. He will fall as well. And so now the final 2v2 in game one.
Jackson and Vico, they've held the high ground from first moving, but now they have to close it out. Joe and Ziandi down below, they have 9 eliminations, looking to turn it into double digits. They have to be careful, though. It's all about hitting that crucial shot. The zone pulling downwards, the change in elevation. This gives Jackson and Vico even more of an advantage, but if Joe and Ziandi can connect the shots they need to, they'll be able to take it home.
The zone is pulling down the hill, and who exactly would that favor? You would think it's Joe and Ziandi, but right now, Vico hitting some big shots, and he'll continue to do that as well. Jackson's actually been the one to take down Ziandi, and so Vico and Jackson will take game one. The zone pulled down the hill, and they were ready, and they connected with some big shots along the way.
Vico and Jackson made it happen. They had the high ground. They held it throughout the whole end game, and were able to clean it up. They had the advantage. They made use of it, not giving it up, and used that to get those last 2 eliminations alongside that beautiful victory royale.
Vico and Jackson are making it look easy. Look at this here. Jackson with a big shot did not wilter one bit. He was ready and waiting, and then it was only a matter of time until Vico connected onto Joe to finish it off. And look at what it means to them. Vico and Jackson, they've worked so hard this chapter, and now here in the finals, game one, they're showing off that hard work certainly pays off.
And there's nothing better than that. Putting in the practice, putting in the time, and having it pay off. But it's all about how they carry that momentum forwards. This is game one. There's 12 to be played out. We are just getting started.
Look, they made that look incredibly easy, and this is not easy at all. This is the most intense, the hardest lobby any of these players will play all season. So we're going to send it to the analysts to break down how they made it look so good.
My goodness, game number 1 of the FNCS Finals here in Europe does not disappoint, man. Vico and Jackson, they just had control.
Absolute control, and it's so funny. That looked like a top-tier level game, and we've not been seeing that from them this season. We've seen that from them the last 2 seasons, and I was getting concerned because I love this duo, but they hadn't looked like they were on top form until right now when it matters.
And that's the thing. They came in just squeaking by last in semis, but here in the finals, they're starting off in first place, Reese. And I love the fact that they just were able to establish that high ground control, and they maintained it as well throughout. Seems as though there was a lot of congestion, especially in that mid to low ground, that posed a lot of issues for these other duos, and Vico and Jackson just took full advantage of it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the reason they could stay on top of the lobby, stay up on high, was just because of a lot of the other top teams actually went out early. So Taysom go down, we saw Malibu and Mustache go down. A lot of the teams who typically contest them up on high ground went down in that first moving zone.
A bit tragic there as well, I think, for Queasy and Vino, because they looked as though they were in really solid positioning to try and actually close this one out, and then just out of nowhere, completely bamboozled when moving through those boxes.
Just a completely, tonally, completely different game we are watching right now. Here's a look at our settings. So once again, this is just game number 1. Remember, we have 12 total, 6 today, 6 tomorrow to play. After everything is said and done, Joe and Ziandi, they're still on top, right? There's only a single point separation, so I don't want to get like too crazy and be like, oh, there's all this stuff, because that was just game one, right? Like, this is kind of a warm-up, so to speak.
Yeah, and I think what you can take from the top of the leaderboards is that game one doesn't necessarily mean that much a lot of the time. You know, right. We see a lot of, I don't want to say not top teams, because everyone here is a top team, but some of the teams you might not expect do really well early on, and after game 6, game 8, they kind of fizzle out a little bit. I hope these teams don't, because this looks like an interesting leaderboard to me. Obviously, Joe and Ziandi up in first, but, you know, we want to look at a guy who probably should be there. Seti and Cammy down in 7th. You know, they placed, I think it was 7th or 8th in placement in that particular match, and this is just the start. This is like one game, but if they do that 12 times as their normal play style, man, they're going to be flying.
A pretty nice solo clutch out as well there for Seti and Cammy, but more importantly, it was interesting given their start, because we weren't expecting to see them get contested off that initial Cammy split drop point, and yet it was Sherry's duo that actually managed to surprise them throughout. But again, Cammy, he is just making it happen when it matters most. The fact that he was able to hold on to this low ground control for as long as he did is really impressive.
That's right, and you actually want to kind of deep dive into this early game from them, right?
I do indeed. I want to walk over this way. I want to show you what happens earlier on. Now, it's quite surprising. If you've watched Cammy and Seti across seasons on seasons, you know that they take a split in usually somewhere that has a lot of loot, but it's not a POI, right? And if we look on this map, this is their usual drop spot. They usually land on this side and here. But this is actually them. This is Cammy and Seti. And this down here is Perchawa and Chari. So if you want to see what actually ends up happening here, right? It's very, very interesting to me, because they've now just been surprise contested. However, both teams want to take this hill on the east of Tilted. This hill gives you visibility of basically the entire map, and they end up in both trying to rotate to that. However, if we play the clips, roll them, we're going to see exactly what happens here. Once they manage to get up, you can see this is the moment here where Seti's actually surprised. He's like, whoa, what's happened? Someone's landing in a drop spot. We're not used to this. We're kind of surprised. And now, look, because they've been cut off, their loot's been stolen. Notice the ammo. 54 ammo. 1 grapple glove, which we'll come to later. They're splitting everything. What does this mean? Lots of words so far. They're shocked. They've had half of their loot taken off spawn when they were not expecting it here, and still managed to go all the way up till 7th. This is the team who did it, Chari and Perchawa, stealing some of that loot, snagging it up in a little unexpected change that I don't think we were really expecting to see off drop.
That's right, and for them, they have to figure out how they're going to adapt to this, right? There's a meta to Fortnite, but then there's a meta within each kind of qualifying stage. We're seeing the same thing happen here, which is absolutely insane. But I know we want to keep talking, but it's that time. We got to get back into all the actions, because the battle bus, it's ready to go. And we hope you guys are at home as well. This is game 2 of the FNCS Finals.
Game 2.
So much has happened already, and we're just at the beginning. The top teams battling it out from the start to staying up as well in the end game. A duo, Vico Jackson, holding the high ground. It's almost felt like uncontested, but it's not easy as that. It's because they played it so well and did everything they needed to finish off that.
Yeah, look, that's a team that kept their cool in game 1, and for all the other teams in the lobby, the goal will be to do the same. Can you keep your cool across not just the one game, but across the whole tournament, right? We have so many games left to play, so if you didn't have the best of starts, oh well, you move forward. There are still plenty of opportunities to move up in the standings.
But it's about that mentality, right? Staying positive, staying ready, and adapting to the changes you need to. If something gets switched up in your early, mid-game, or late game that was due to your opponents, you have to be able to adapt to that and do better than them. You heard it, the beep beep, the bus, it's ready. These players are hopping in to game number 2.
Jumping right back into the action we are, and the players will certainly have to be ready. You have no other choice now. These are the biggest games of the season, and you have to be able to step up. But who will it be to step up? We already saw plenty of off-spawn battles last time round. Who will be victorious in game 2?
That is the question. Who's going to be able to maintain that early game dominance? But for the duos that aren't contested, it's not about that early game dominance against a player or two. It's about the efficiency and their loot path. But one of the battles that we're going to be excited to see at the start of every match, it's Tayson, it's Chapix, as Chapix knocks down one, and now both players gone down. Xsweeze and Podesai getting eliminated once again.
Oh, dearie me. We're already seeing so much here. In terms of changes, Flixie taken down, but fortunately Frey was able to come to the rescue. And the interesting thing about that team, Takara, is because they are one of the biggest examples of a team who needs and has shown that working hard will put you higher into the fray. No pun intended.
Definitely had that pun intended. I got you. That was good.
I was saving that one
That's
for the finals.
Yeah, you know, it was a good one. But look at this, Rocky Reels. And an engagement that took a while in the last match has now already been finished. Chicho Trulex have come out on top, have gotten those 2 eliminations. And the third party is not going to be coming in since they got that so quickly this time.
Yeah, and the big thing for them was coming back in game 2 and just getting things dealt with quickly, right? I talked about it last game. Trulex is known as the Rocky owner, right? He rolls through this POI and he just stomps everybody out, right? But of course, game 1, with the way it started, wasn't ideal. They've amended that now, and now they need to continue to do that if they truly want to be the Rocky owners this season.
Let's look at Thomas and Tripburn, though. They're here in the Rave Cave. Last match, they had a rocky early game, forced Thomas to get rebooted later on as Tripburn had to kind of make a little excavation in the ocean, swimming around to a reboot van. But now if they're able to get out of there quicker with loot, with materials, and focus more on the rotate and what they need to do for the late game, we could see them popping off as now Art Skill. T-Chips, nice shot connecting. One more needed for the knock. They have to be careful, the players that are getting pushed, as Mixon gets into the box. One shot as he cracks his opponent, and now this engagement continues forwards.
You say get into the box. I don't think he had much choice there, but turning the tide indeed, because he will take Art Skill out. And now looking to do the same one to T-Chips as well, I'm sure. But is Artsel going to be able to come in and start helping? Because if they can pincer him in, it will be almost impossible for T-Chips to deal with him. He doesn't have much by way of materials. And the loadout isn't amazing, but you can see now as well, ADN and Hardfine rolling in, lurking in the shadows, ready to strike. The opportunity certainly is there. They are just waiting for a timing, and maybe this will be the timing. They've missed out on T-Chips, which is unfortunate, but there is still plenty of opportunities to deal damage, and Mixon will be the one that feels that.
The laser coming through. Hardfine, though, has also gone very low here, as it seems that another duo is close by. It's Tayson, it's Chapix, fourth party, fifth party. The engagement around here has gotten that much more dangerous as Hardfine goes down, leaving ADN alone. Now Tayson, Chapix are the ones that want to show and want to insert that dominance.
And this is what makes Tayson and Chapix such a scary duo. They sniff out the danger and they come rolling through. Literally do not care who it is. They will push into anybody if they think the opportunity is there. We'll see exactly how Tayson did it. Oh, just a nice little cheeky shot there.
Nice little pick off of his opponent. And now I'm curious to see what's next for this duo. They're going to continue forwards, or are they going to decide that they want a bit more of that food? As now Joe and Andy, Z Andy, continuing to make a rotate from the Synapse station, still uncontested. And I like to see this in the first place spot currently. We saw what they did down in the dirt last match. They weren't up above, but they still got almost double-digit elims, 9 elims, and the second place. That is a great way to start off the day.
Yeah, not a shabby start whatsoever. I think the big thing is we've seen great starts in FNCS finals in the past, and a great start doesn't guarantee a great finish, right? It is all about staying consistent, especially with how many games there are, right? We always see great day one performances and lackluster day two ones. What team will you be? Will you be a team that has a great day one, poor day two, maybe a poor day one and a great day two? Or can you be what most of the winners end up being, and that is phenomenal across the 2 days? For Vico and Jackson, the start is definitely ideal, right? You can't get better than a victory royale really at the start. But it is certainly not finished yet. The job is far from done.
And now the patience. The shots coming through. You said it yourself. It's not about just the moment. It's about the whole tournament, the whole thing. As Vico and Jackson decide that they've got the tags, they've got a lot of damage, but nothing worth moving for. They're going to build up their tower, get them in that little nice storm surge position, the angles for Joe and Ziandi are also looking amazing on top of this rocky hill.
Yeah, it's a nice position. We obviously saw them earlier. They rifted and looked to come here. And this is exactly why, because they knew they'd be in a somewhat of the epicenter of this southern side of the map, right? Up so high above, they can just see so much in the surrounding POIs.
Thomas and Tripperen, they've made it out of the Rave Cave without a scratch on them this time. So I'm curious to see what they're going to be able to do moving forwards, as now they were kind of caught off guard down below in the river as Hydro and Belusi were up above, able to take shots at them, so they quickly decided maybe not the best position to continue rotating through. But for Seti and Cammy, playing what they know, they have their route, they have it practiced, they have it planned, and it's all about consistency for this duo.
Of course, we know that when their plan is clicking, they are a team capable of just completely just making Fortnite look very, very simple, right? Fortnite can be a very complicated game at the highest level, right? But these guys make it look easy. A team that certainly doesn't make their lives easy is Vortex and Hi-Chris, with all their constant fighting off spawn. But it's something that they are comfortable with now. This is going to be very interesting. Queasy and Vino, is this something they've been cooking up in the break? Everybody knows that Anderlecht and Snazy like to position like this up in Coney, and Vino and Queasy clearly looking to try to take advantage of that. Snazy is down below and Vino will hear him and already looking to find control in this fight. Can't afford to be over aggressive because Snazy is no easy opponent, but you're already seeing the intention from these two.
I don't know what they were cooking, Levin, but it's smelling good as they got the initial shot but weren't able to continue forwards. It looks like they want to get that damage early on. They want to do what they can before it's too risky later and even take the position up above. Queasy kind of said, thanks for building this tower. I'm going to take the top box and now it's mine. But his duo partner Vino is still down below, scouting the situation, as now it seems that they have been able to regroup up above. And with the zone about to close, it's going to open up the chance for these duos to pick out their rotate moving forwards.
Pulling over towards the Sanctuary as well, and so a zone that I've seen both of these teams be very successful with in the past. Will they be able to replicate that again?
Replicating, adapting, rotating. That's what Fortnite's all about. But I want to see a rotate that came through from Vico and Jackson. Mini Miner, what'd you see?
Of course, Vico and Jackson are game one winners. I just want to dissect a little bit as to how they went about that. Look at this, though, from Vico. He's breaking these barrels down to 1 HP, waiting for Jackson to come over, and then they can both benefit from all of the HP that these barrels offer. Of course, that just kicks off their rotate, because then they can go all the way to the more easterly side of the map, because if you remember in the last game that they won, they had the zone right on their back garden, so they could just sit around tilted. This time, they've decided to rotate as much further east as possible, just in case of that east side zone, and as you just saw on the screen, it has pulled east, so they can now get in an early position and hopefully replicate game one success.
Rotates are really key. It's all about knowing what you're going to do before it happens. And if that scenario pops out and they get, for example, an east side zone like Vico and Jackson just got, they're already ready for it. They've already began their rotate. And Pink and Anas here, remember, they do land in the Jonesies. They have Gooden. They have Hellfire, Flois close by in that early game engagement. But without any eliminations on the board, I'm wondering if they're taking advantage of that to get a bit of tags. And you can even see Gooden there and Vacant. They're close by and they're still up. But for Jerky and iDrop, they're more close to the edge of the zone here. With just 10 seconds until it starts closing, they might be able to find some of these duos rotating and be able to get some tags on them.
I think the big question for this team was always going to be, if the zone isn't pulling towards that north or northwest, how exactly are they going to handle getting their Storm Surge? And of course, that responsibility typically falls on iDrop. He is the IGL, the leader of that team. And a similar question will be asked of Mr. Savage, of course, the one who looks to lead this team of Hen. And you could argue for both teams, the decisions haven't always been quite top-notch. This is not great for Sangil, though. We just hopped into the middle of this fight, and it's not one that I think Sangil would have wanted us to see, because he will fall. Loki does great, though, actually, to pick up Hardfind. And so it's not finished yet. If he can connect onto ADN, which is exactly what he's going to do, his team remains in the game. ADN made sure to take out Sangil, though. He wanted them points, so props to Aiden, but unfortunately, it won't affect them too much, right? Loki will be able to pick Sangil back up.
Right, that's the good news, right? They had the reboot van close by. We didn't even have to go too far to get his duo partner back up, but be careful. Look at this. Tayson and Chapix crouched in the bush, but it looks like Paco and Krusty, not sure if it was just awareness, checking, making sure there's people there. They already knew beforehand, but they didn't put themselves in that surprise situation. We walk into a bush, Tayson Chapix there waiting for you. As now already 3 limbs on the board for this duo. 434 above the Storm Surge threshold. They don't need more damage. They're already in the zone. But if they have the chance to, Krusty and Paco now recuperating the shield they lost. I'm not sure if this is going to go all out, but it looks like Paco and Krusty, they need it. 167 below. They want to get this damage.
Yeah, some damage that will be essential, but look who they're trying to take damage against. Tayson and Chapix. There's never a fight you really want to take if you don't have to. And already they're paying for it. Krusty, unfortunately, fell. That's tough, man. That's tough. You need Storm Surge. And look who you have to fight for it against. Tayson and Chapix. My oh my, they are doing very well when it comes to Surge, though. 800 above. And so if Tayson is to fall here, it would make it even more disappointing, because they have not everything they need, but certainly an upper hand on the rest of the lobby. Paco is trying to avenge Krusty with all he can, with all his heart. And that might just be enough to disturb them in their pursuit of a win here. He is just being such a thorn in their side. I'm sure they'll be very frustrated they haven't been able to take him out quicker.
Paco's hitting the shots, though. He is stinging for Tayson and Chapix, though, as they keep using more and more chug splashes. But this could be it, the turning factor, as Chapix and Tayson have connected the shots they needed to. But Paco, he's still up, even if he's one shot away. But there it is. After a while, he has been taken down. Next zone has appeared. It's close by. The rotate isn't too far.
Yeah, they were finally able to get the job done on that one, but again, it did take them a while. Fortunately, they are quite the way ahead of the rest of their opponents. They do have a shorter distance to get to the zone than others, and so they shouldn't struggle too much to get there.
Ooh. This is a duo I like to see. 3 elims on the board already. In the top 5 in 3rd place with a drop spot that it's difficult to work with, but seeing where the zone pulled more to the east side, they're feeling good in this match. They already land by the Mighty Monument, so being so close, they didn't have to do a far rotate at all, which is why they already have such a dominant position. But for Tripper and Thomas, 78 above, barely walking their way into zone here, forced to use charges on their grapple glove, now dropped below the Storm Surge threshold. This is not the position you want to be in.
Yeah, but again, it's Thomas HD. I don't know if I may be giving him too much credit here, but when they're below Surge, he does not struggle to get them back above, typically, right? Typically. And of course, they're not looking too strong, right? They could have way more materials, and I'm sure they'd love some shields as well. But when it comes down to it, I do expect Thomas to hit the necessary shots to get them back up. Flixie hitting the necessary shots to take Petrawa out there. And so, yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that team does across the rest of the game. But I would expect a masterclass from the Danes, especially after a disappointing first game.
But for Frey and Flixie, not looking disappointing at them at all right now. But if we switch over to Stormy right default, they are looking to have something here. High Chris close by, 26 below, just 1 shot away, but what are they gonna have to do to get it? They don't want to risk it all, but sometimes if you wait too long and the clock keeps ticking, you get yourself into a situation where you don't have much of a choice. As High Chris trying to hold as much as possible. He's not in the nervous position where he has to get damage done. So Vortex and Hycris, they can play it slow here. They can chill out and let their opponents take the damage, make sure they don't get any. And once it's the perfect moment to strike, they get that shot, already having the upper hand before.
The problem is there's nothing too chill, right? When you have two very hungry players knocking on your door. It's all about men making sure they keep their separation and disrupt their rhythm, and that's exactly what they seem to be doing. Hycris and Vortex. Hycris doing a great job of dealing a bit of damage there just to push those two back.
Just 15 seconds left until the zone begins to close. You can see the rotate they have to make at the bottom right. The mini-map shows it, but for Joe and Ziandi, they're in a better spot to not have to get out of an engagement to rotate. You can see the three duos southwest of them, and now all looking at each other. Meanwhile, getting shot from the duos already based up inside the zone, making it that much more difficult to continue forwards. But Joe and Ziandi have done it, made it into zone, 37 above, and now at that position, gonna have openings onto these players that are rotating in. But for Tripper and Thomas, ugh, they have to make something happen here. They have the damage, no shields to work with. One shot away for Thomas. If someone spits from above and it lands on Thomas's head, that might just be enough to take him out of this match.
These guys are scuffed right now, and they do have players with eyes on them. This is such a risky grapple play. Well, it was the play he needed to make to move into zone. The question is, will they be able to survive with so many shots being taken and no materials to defend themselves? What can they do? It's not looking good, especially with Vico in his box. Thomas is no match there. Not something you'll hear me say many often, but for Vico and Jackson, they are on fire right now, and they will take out Tripp and Thomas with ease. And even though I say ease, Jackson did actually go down on the way. Vico, though, certainly making things look easy.
Vico picking up his partner. And now the question is, are they going to carry it? They've been carrying the momentum so far. Looking so good with those two little presents that came into them. But now, seems that they have pulled this half in, half out fifth zone. This is a strong start for the duo, but for Vino and Queasy, looks like they're trying to scout out some of the opponents here. Picking up the loot that was left behind, scavenging as their opponents quickly see. Say, no, no, no. I don't want you taking my loot, but nothing too dangerous.
What's going on here with Pink and Anas? Okay, ooh, a big 170 shot there from Pink to keep him alive. That really was looking like he was going to go down for a second. But nonetheless, Default will be taken out, and they'll also deal with his teammate Stormy, right? So a nice pair of limbs for this team. Again, maybe showing off that fighting prowess I was talking about earlier. And a decent amount above with grapple gloves and max materials. Spoiler alert, this team's about to have a cracking game.
You said it yourself. They had trouble getting those elims before, but now it looks like they've crossed that out of the book of mistakes as they're continuing strong. But for Jerky Eye Drop, they're also doing a great job. They have the damage, too many shields to work with, only one for his duo partner. So the shields are a little low, but already being in zone, being in this fifth zone with the damage you need, they're off to a good start.
Yeah, but it's not just about the start, it's about finishing off things as well. Malibuka and Mestache up elevated as they wait for the zone to pull, and this will give them plenty of options in terms of where they choose to go. The lobby has decided that they must go towards the southeast, closer and closer to the Sanctuary. You're already seeing teams making their move. Flixie and Frey at the bottom of your screen started to rotate. DKS and the Citros are going to have to start thinking about what they want to do. They do have the option, certainly, but it isn't going to be the easiest of rotations to make, as there's so many players beneath them that will have to make a move on.
Not going to be easy at all, but a common theme that we've seen is game one, the high ground doesn't get contested as much, but in game two it does. And for the high ground winning team, Vico and Jackson in the last match, the tables have quickly turned. Vico has been knocked down. Jackson now left alone, 23 health to work with, no shields on the board, but his duo partner has not been finished. He's going to try and pick him up here. The zone gets closer and closer. They'll have to make an edge rotate, but they might just be able to recuperate their position.
They are so fortunate that they are able to stay in this game. That went so badly for them, but they still have a fighting chance. Queasy, Vino, they're looking to take height off of Frey and Flixie, the ones who wanted to try it, and they will quickly be snuffed out. Queasy jumping around from tarp to tarp, getting into boxes as well, trying to close things out. Eventually will be forced to go back up to height. But while he's been away, it seems like his high ground's been taken. It's Refscard and Clown who are up above. Vino wasn't able to hold it, and so now that duo gets forced down, and it's another duo now coming into the picture. Mustache hitting a big shot onto Artor. So much chaos ensuing all across the lobby, and all these teams, all these players trying their best to find any solid footing.
And for Jackson, he has lost his duo partner, now forced to play it alone, but Chapix with 5, Payson with 3. The rotate continues through, but the aggression from the players does as well. The shots don't stop coming in, but for Seti and Cammy, making use of those grapple gloves, conserving those materials, keeping the rotates coming through, staying up as a duo, just like Hellfire and Flois are doing here, continuing to play it for that consistency. But Merstash, he's a demon, and he's on fire.
Merstash, as a solo, looking to try and do all he can to clutch things up. He's shown us great clutches in the past, and now looking to do so again. Certainly has the materials to stay in the game for just that bit longer, and an armored wall might go a long way in keeping him up as well. For Vino and Queasy, they need to redeem themselves. These are 2 players who are renowned for their height takes, who just haven't been able to hold it thus far. And so can they still keep themselves in this game? Can they do what the likes of Hellfire are doing? Cleaning players out on their layer. Oh my goodness, Pink with a piece. What is this? Oh, these players are going off.
They're feeling good, but for Vino and Queasy, they might be able to. Vino goes down, though. He knocks and Nos along with him. Queasy now, from having the high ground in the early, now down below in the dirt, digging for some loot as DKS has lost his duo partner. Pink still up, 4 eliminations, has the confidence, has the momentum, but with duos in front of him, he has to pick the right path to not put himself in a situation where he's gonna go down. Janice getting eliminated. Hellfire, Flois still up as a duo, looking to get a bit of real estate down below. Gets the pre-edit, gets the shot, but Hellfire's cracked.
You can see they want to claim low ground, but it's never an easy feat for Pink, though. He's gonna keep on fighting, and he's gonna keep on hitting shots as well, moving himself now to the front of the zone. But if he's not careful, there are some very hungry teams with him. Chico and Trulex, Hellfire as well is there. Clown and Refscard, they are just having to do everything they can to clean people up. They're doing so well up above, but for Pink, can he continue to hit shots here? No materials left, dancing around builds, Edit's trying to find the right angle, won't connect to that shot, but still has a chance there, and he'll hit it, and he'll hit another one as well! Are you kidding? Are you kidding me? How has he managed to do it? He's still alive here as well, and Refscard might fall into his sights again, and Refscard is looking to take that fight, but is it a fight he really wants to take? When Pink is hitting shots like this, how are you managing to do this? He'll find him as well, but when he connects, he won't. Refscard will end that game for Pink, and now he will look to try and go back up above. Clown is no longer here, and so it's just him against Refscard and Hellfire. A 1v1 to win game 2. Can Hellfire do it? He can. 6 eliminations all to himself. Wow.
What a game. It looks like there was a boss down below taking out player after player. Pink going insane, but ultimately it was where the cleanup needed to happen. So many things changed throughout that match. Refscard and Clown, they were up above, but quickly enough, the tables turned.
I'm still just lost for words after the things we've just seen down below. Look, props to Hellfire and Flois for winning that game, and of course specifically Hellfire to pick up all the eliminations for the team and win the game is never an easy thing to do in this lobby, especially when we have players hitting the kind of shots we've seen them hit. But for them, game 2 is theirs. They will now look to try and continue on that pace. I'm still going crazy though at Pink UK. My goodness, the shots he was hitting were insane.
It was incredible, but what mattered was Hellfire at the end. He saw that there was a party going down below. There was dances, there was emotes, but he was able to clean up that party from above and get the VR, which is what's going to give them a majority of those placement points. But I want to see how that shakes up the leaderboard. So let's hand it on over to Zeke, Taco, and Reese. Let us know what happened.
Oh, man. There's so much to unpack from that last game. We're going to get to all of it, but I have to start here with Hellfire and Flowis. To get a victory royale in finals is such a huge statement for the duo.
It's a huge statement, and you know, it's also a lot about momentum. The thing is, like, a lot of these teams, when you say the word momentum, it's generic. It means nothing. But honestly, for a guy like Hellfire, it's very, very important because he's easily tilted, right? But similarly, if things go good, he carries on that. He uses that to continue on throughout the rest of the tournament. I love these guys, and the fact that they're starting off so strong is awesome.
Love that closeout as well from him. He just did such a great job at controlling that low ground and especially waiting for that challenge between Restguard and Pink to actually consistently follow through. As soon as it cleaned up, as soon as it completed, he went for the immediate cleanup. So timing impeccable, and I think composure was even better.
Ooh. All right, let's take a look. So obviously, the change eliminations, the Victory Royale is now contributing to Flowis and Hellfire jumping up to the top, right? Zandy and Joe, we saw them perform last game, and though we didn't see too much of them, it's still enough to kind of keep them in second place, right? Vico, Jackson, game 1, Victory Royale, and still they're holding top 3 after game 2.
I think the biggest, I was going to say the biggest, there's a lot of big movements as you can see. 5th place, Pink and Nask, up 16 points. Like, how can we not talk about that clutch? How can we not highlight how good Pink has gotten? His progression this season alongside Anas has been unbelievable. I have not seen a more improved duo than Pink and Anas across this year, no doubt.
The fluidity was probably the most impressive part about it all, and this clutch in particular. A solo against a duo, just absolutely wiping the floor there with Chico. And granted, a little bit of an unfortunate finish there, but you could tell that Pink, he was feeling it. He was feeling himself, and it's that kind of confidence that I think is really going to try and carry the momentum here.
We were losing it. We were freaking out here, and as soon as it came to the 1v1 against Restguard, we were ready for the full clutch in the Victory Royale. Of course,
not enough HP.
I just missed out at the end there, but who else we got on this leaderboard? You know, I'm thinking guys like Queasy Vino as well. People who we see move up now 2 placements, right? And this is kind of the thing that a lot of the champions, a lot of the people who you're expecting your top 5 to do, they're not having one good game now. They're getting into end game, second game. It'll be 3rd, 4th, 5th, and you're just going to keep seeing it game after game.
One of the most impressive parts, though, about this duo is just you can see how tactical Queasy is with every single choice he's making throughout this lobby, because there were instances where when they had the high ground control, for example, Queasy actually chose to disengage, and I think a lot of players would really get caught up in the moment. They'd want to look for the finalization on that elim, but Queasy, he doesn't chase it. He knows if I can just maintain high ground control, if I can just fall back to where Vino was at, because Vino actually ended up losing that high ground to Restguard and falling off push, so it's really impactful, I think, just for him to have that high-level understanding.
See, you saw it say they disengaged, and they did. That was great, but they did commit a little bit too long, because that's actually what lost them high ground to Restguard right there, which is a shame, but of course, hey, we got a bunch of games left for them to do good. Tayson and Chapix. How can we not? Again, there's so many highlights in this already. We saw them go off drop against Xweez and Podesai. 1, straight, wiped, floor, done, sorry you're gone. Then we saw them push ADN as well. Now we're seeing them, I think that was Krusty and Paco they fought. By the 3rd zone, we're like 8, 9, 10, I don't know how many minutes, a bunch of minutes into the game at that point, and they already have 5 elims starting strong. If they want to win a championship while being contested off spawn, they have to do stuff like this where they make the most of those games.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is RU Viral. Welcome to FNCS. This is day 1 Europe. We'll probably be doing NA East after this and also NA West, so it's going to be a very long night. Well, anyway, if you're new, subscribe, drop that like button, share it to your friends. Let's create a watch party and just watch the best Fortnite players in the world. So I think that was game 2 that just ended up now. I do apologize for taking so long. I had to sort up some network issues. So yeah, let's go for it.
Continually being there, being in the discussion again. You know, we're probably going to see some of the teams who've had one
my brother
drop out as the day starts to go on, as we usually do in a 2-day format.
How you been enjoying this shit so far?
It is definitely difficult to
crazy, right? We'll never be there.
Pacing, but the one that's been established so far, it's rapid. It's
can you hear me?
All of these duos moving seamlessly.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Find any sort of advantage that they can.
Welcoming it's Clint Yo. He's also joining in on the party chat. Also check out his YouTube as well as his Twitch. Both live. Okay, are you ready for game 3?
I'm ready, bro. I've been looking at these plays and I'm like, yo, we'll just never ever get there.
We just don't have the ping. I mean, like, you can see on the screen, it's currently showing about 205 in Europe, and that's how close it is. If you can play Middle East, it's a little bit easier, but it's still 250 ping.
Amazing players in the same lobby competing that anybody can take home a
But
match.
Europe, you need like the most points in all tournaments. So with 200 ping, we don't even stand half of a chance.
When they get to the end game, they have to be able to pop off, because if you go down early, that's a 0-point match. You have 12 matches to be played out. So alongside some 0-point matches, you need those big games.
Yeah, and if anybody can, it's going to be those two. They've just been in such top form.
Excuse me.
And I think even them will be wishing they would have had it uncon, because if they did, it would have been scary and not for them. You know, the rest of the lobby.
So who's ready for like, I don't know, 12-hour stream probably?
They will have to hope though some of these other teams that have started off incredible.
Are you muted? Tell me.
I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to break the stream up. I'm not sure if NA East and NA West will run on their servers. The thing is a bit
No, but you remember you only leave. But you can start it over with a new title and all that.
Yeah, I think it's better.
We got the battle bus loaded with players, all hungry to try and either redeem themselves after game 2 or look to do more of the same in game 3. The Fire Hunter and Syned.
I'm just loving the non-tails.
What is the
Yeah, it's pretty low.
up in the standings for this team? A lot of it will be revolving around staying alive and getting surged. Oh dearie me.
That's so sad. Like, he downed him, and then the other one was just down, and now the teammates on him, and boom, they're gone.
They're out. Quick.
What a player. Comes in clutch when needed. Is always there to back his boy. And so even though Trapix was taken down, they remain in the game. They get another opportunity to show what they can do.
That's scary though. In the previous early games, Payson and Chapix have both been up after the engagement.
Listen to this. The Few is playing Zero Bolt scrims while the FNCS is on.
And he's probably gonna get the same amount of views.
Yeah, true.
Lockdown landing directly on that striker pump shotgun, able to clean up his opponents in the early game.
I mean, GG's for him, man. Keep the grind alive, you know. Don't be afraid of who's live. Just be live. If you feel like you wanna be a streamer, you fucking do that shit. Doesn't matter how you look. Doesn't matter what people say in your commentary. Doesn't matter. It does not matter. Do they pay your bills? You know? Do they like your photos on Instagram? Are they your friends on Facebook? No, nobody gives a fuck what they think.
You just need to keep the swearing to a minimum, please.
even that, you know, like I just don't give a fuck.
No, I do. I actually care quite a bit about it because I've got quite a bit of subscribers that's underage. It's just disrespectful.
But for Joe and Ziandi, it's not about recuperation, it's about maintaining the spot they're in.
Yeah,
Pretty sure all of them swears as well.
It's been really impressive so far today. I think
Yeah, true, and that is probably true.
You ain't gonna tell me US 13 no swearing, US 11 no swearing. That's when you want to swear. Now you have to swear.
There isn't that easy damage dealt off spawn that they're familiar with, and so having to find that solution in other ways.
Oh no.
I feel like a broken record here, but High Chris and Vortex are fighting for him.
He shouldn't have stopped there. He shouldn't have stopped.
Once again, and it looks like Fakey is gonna go getting cracked. High Chris with full shield has the upper hand, and now gonna continue running through the builds, running through his options to try and finish this engagement as quickly as he can. But Fakey, the more time he gives him, the more shield he's gonna have. Turns around quickly.
Oh my goodness.
Fakey turning this engagement
And he gets his
around
buddy
and
back.
with enough time to pick up his duo partner.
That's amazing, bro.
I still have to play, bro. They only got, well, 15 points. Oh, no, they had 9 points. That's absolutely terrible. That's far off from 475.
All you have to do is one victory, and that puts you up. So
I'm pretty sure your headset is set to the incorrect volume. I can hear myself.
No, it's yours. Yours are loud because you talked to Mad Money and his sound was soft.
No,
now you can hear yourself, right?
No, I can still hear myself. It's yours. Yours is set to wrong side. You play Warzone.
No, I didn't. Look. If I turn you up more, you're gonna be louder. Talk now.
That's a close one. Yeah, and to be fair, Bevy's involved.
3 years, huh?
You know, the most flashiest of names in the EU, but
yeah, it's alright now.
It's like then you're like super loud to me though.
You need to know.
So if it's over there, you can hear yourself.
Games across this season. And I think winning the fight
yeah, I can hear myself.
Okay, well, hold on. What about now?
I'm not sure. It's a little bit better. I can still hear myself echoing in the background.
What about now?
There we go. That's no, I can hear myself.
Yes. Okay, what about if I go this side? What about now?
Yeah, there we go. No, it's still terrible. I still hear myself.
Then it's not. I don't know. Then it's not me, bro.
I don't know, but let's have some radio silence. I'm missing it.
Chug Splash is just for Pink with the legendary burst assault rifle. I'm not sure what Anas is holding, but Pink's loadout is enough loot for a whole duo.
Well, maybe not enough loot for a whole duo, but certainly a good amount of loot, right? And more important than the loot, it is about the position and the way they're playing. You can see how aggressive Pink was being in terms of looking to try and take some 50-50 trades, deal some damage for Storm Surge. Something that we'll see plenty of teams doing all across the map. But it's something that they've mastered, Pink and Anas. They've been so strong this season.
It needs like background music.
Now switching over to the southern side of the map. Reason, Noah.
You're muted.
They do have their drop spot on.
That's why I set Spotify up for you.
No, that would absolutely just kill the stream.
No, you have a volume, bro. Like you can turn that volume so low that it's just above, you know, the talking or whatever the fuck you don't want to hear. But you can also turn it loud. That's your choice.
I'm just trying to keep the guidelines intact, you know. You never know, YouTube might just be funny.
Nobody can't hear anything. That's not how it works. You can never hear my music. You can only hear me singing though, you know.
Yeah, true. Like I said, it's distraction. I need to listen to these guys, the commentators, because
I don't really care about them because the game itself is amazing. Like, we watch these streamers every day.
I don't know, your mic is so loud. I think you need to turn down your mic.
In a bit of a different area.
Is it better now?
I'm just sort of taking shots all
yeah, it's a little bit better. Thanks.
You see, this is to the right side. I'll even do this. This is out. Does it make shit better?
A little bit. Not terribly, but it's okay.
I have exactly the same headset as you.
To the east side islands by the mighty monument where you have a grapple glove spawn. But there is another duo around there. I'm curious to see if they're giving up the grapple glove or not. But meanwhile, you have duos in the center of the map, almost able to reach the stars from how high up they are.
Yeah, look at how good of a position Joe and Ziandi are in. This is somewhere we've seen them quite a few times already today. Mini Miner, we're going to bring you in. How exactly did they get here, my friend?
course, landing down at the sign-up station, they're using the Rift. And what I really, really like about this, the reason why I want to highlight it, is they're actually using a very, very smart tactic. They're not landing together. Most teams would land right next to each other when they are using the Rift. This then allows them to get extra little tags. You can see Ziandi landing on this hill to the more west side. And then we can also see Joe going to the more northern side as well, which allows them to get 2 different angles onto Kidua, I believe it was. It was just down to the south there, and able to get so many tags onto him. This is a really, really smart tactic, because then you can get as many tags as possible, and you can see them in this great position at the moment. Of course, they got up there using the zip line, and this is a really, really good spot for them because of this smart rotate.
Thank you, Mini Miner. That's what you love to see, the use of that natural mobility in the rifts. But the interesting point you brought out, landing in different spots, almost have multiple angles to use against their opponents, and one of them there was almost gonna get taken out instantly, but Joe did get shot from afar and caused him to have to change up his drop a little bit. But for ADN, hard find in the Rave Cave. Sangled low-key close by. This engagement, it's not low-key at all. In the zone, the danger level's increasing second after second. And now it's left to which duo is gonna come out on top.
Yeah, these are the kind of fights that we've actually seen at this POI all chapter long, even when it wasn't called Rave Cave, right? Back to Command Cavern and whatnot, just teams fighting here in the zone non-stop. This season it's been a bit less viable than previous ones, but it won't, you know, stop these teams from doing it nonetheless. And so ADN and Hardfine will just continue to pick away at the builds of Sanguild and Loki, but they don't have much builds of their own, so they're gonna have to start hitting some big shots, and probably quite soon.
And you can tell this engagement has been lasting a long time. You said it yourself, Levin, only 4 builds to work with. As time goes on, this engagement might just end up not being worth it for either duo. Even the one that comes out on the upper end is now ADN going straight into the action, trying to cut off a piece of that pie. Is now Sangled has been dropped down. The 2 versus 1. The upper hand for Hardfine and ADN, as they just need to knock down one more opponent, but choosing to use that shield keg, recuperating the shield they lost. And that's going to cause this engagement to take that much more time. Taking a look at a replay from Hellfire and Flois, though, our #1 team currently in the condo, Canyon, and they know how to clean up fights quickly. Their opponent getting boxed up there, but slithering his way out of the box as Artskill and T chips no way. Was he able to...
Are you seeing this, bro? They're already like the top team, this Flames, and there was, look at this.
He was able to clean it up.
Yeah, no, it's just crazy, man.
Oh my goodness.
Come on, sit down, bro. Just sit down. Sit down. There we go. Thank you.
Of things to do for Flois to pick him back up, but that is probably what he will try to do. They are much better off with Hellfire Live, as you saw last game. He literally had all of the team's eliminations.
Seti and Cammy continuing their passive route, but for QB and Annie here, 160 below. They want to get some damage done, but having to do it onto Noah and Reason. This duo is incredibly dangerous, even if they haven't been performing to their best in this season. They are still some of the best on the European region, especially when they have more damage than their opponents and not as much to worry about. They can wait for the right chance, take that shot, as now QB and Annie get lower and lower. But on the good news, they do have shield, they could have materials. And for Noah, no shield to work with, no health almost, just 11 HP. A couple shots could be enough to take him down.
Yeah, this is not a situation I want to see these guys in, but it's one that I certainly expected. We talked about the struggles they've had so far this season, and again, struggling here. For QB and Annie, it's all about trying to make sure they actually stay alive. They've not been able to go away scotch-free, and actually going to be running into some angry Frenchmen along the way. Forziar and Kezix are going to be the ones to try and take them out. Annie falls, and so that leaves QB in the worst possible situation you can really be in. A solo in the storm against 2 teams that, or 2 players, sorry, that are clearly very hungry.
Or that might be what they were just able to fix. Still half empty. 144 below. They have to get more damage done.
Mine did the same for a second and just staggered.
Hellfire here from the first place spot to now possibly going down in this early to mid game. They're still in the zone. And now just a few ticks away from going down. They're gonna have to use all their minis, their big pots, everything.
They need to fix their stream. Come on.
They might have said.
Yeah, mine freezes at exactly the same time as yours, bro. So it's definitely good side. There it goes again. What the hell, bro? Come on.
Being able to deal that damage. Yeah, it's not looking good, bruv. On to the next game, though, for that team. The big thing is, that will mean they probably will fall in the standings, right? They give and they leave that room for other.
Nope.
And that breaking momentum.
It can't be the cams, right? We have a geek line.
GG's go next.
It might interfere because it's an overlay.
They're not going to be going next yet. 7th place spot, 116 above. Now in the corner of the
I don't know about that.
forced to find that path.
Not exactly at the exact same spots, both of us. You know what I'm saying? Then it would be freezing yours, then it would be freezing mine. Not at the exact same spots.
After. But for Rescard and Clown, they have a longer ways to go. And with Chicho and Trulex close by.
Just remember we're streaming Rocket League live as well.
Yeah,
yeah, that one takes quite a bit to run that one.
Shields to work with. Clown is almost cracked. No minis. But they do have 2 chug splashes and they're going to need to use them.
Yeah, and this isn't good for this team at all. This is a team that we literally just saw so deep into that last game. Of course, it came down to the wire between Rescard and Hellfire. And he wasn't quite able to connect with the shots. It was very, very close. But they'll want a second try in that situation. They'll want to go up for height once again. But if they want to get there, they have to start putting themselves into better spots.
That's just typical Europe casting for you. NAE is still the best.
It feels like I want to move over before the next match starts to NA East. You gonna go with me? NA West.
But can they get into zone? They're so close, but so far in the same sense because there's so
If you like doing that with me. No.
will find the space, but even with them being in zone, the pressure does not wait up one bit. They will continue to be forced backwards. And Malibu and Mustache might be getting forced out of the lobby if they're not careful. Both of these players so down below.
I'm pretty sure it's your cam that's dragging it down, dude.
You can see the darkness creeping in. As Malibuca Mustache are forced to go against Titan. Squeezy Vino making their way in, saying hello. It's me, Mustache getting taken out. Malibuca, though, he's not happy about that at all. His duo partner is not going to go down without a fight. As now Queasy and Vino are forced to group
They're
up.
still getting started. Let's just give it a minute and see. Oh, he's still staggering.
Yeah, really nice stuff there, right? Of course, Malibu and Mustache were quite weak in that situation, way down below on Surge. Which again is actually a big concern for those two, but I'm sure that analysts will have to...
No, it's definitely Europe that's messing up.
This is not our side, bro.
Yeah, it's Europe.
Yeah, before it ends, I'ma not go fuck around. I'ma go to NA East. That's just what it is.
Test it out, see if it's live there.
It's gonna be live. It's NA, bro. Come on. I know it's gonna stream everything.
I know, but these casting crews need to switch less cameras at this point. Like every time they're switching major cam, they're messing up the stream.
NA East. NA West.
Oh no. Every single cam switch. Every single cam switch. You see, as soon as they switch cam, watch it up, then it freezes up.
That's unacceptable.
They're not watching it, they're losing too many frames on switching.
Apologies for losing the stream. I'm just have to switch because Europe does not stream it well.
They never do. The casters are not good. Like, he's a good announcer. Like, he'll tell you some real interesting facts, but it's terrible. Sometimes it just like goes black screen even. And then you watch NA East at 11 or 11 p.m.
There's a lot of people, but I don't see anything playing. But it's on. It's on.
Oh, it's doing the exact same thing.
No, it's not.
Just very recently, where we saw them up on the height, and eventually Queasy and Venom took it from them.
You see, it's doing the exact same thing. Okay, they win proper quality though.
Being more aware of the threats to their high ground. And it's something that they've struggled with so far today that they can't afford to
I'm getting stuck.
That's better though.
Is it better?
I think so.
The issue is, if you want to take that high ground,
I didn't get one freeze frame yet. Maybe a little pixelation, but no freeze frame.
not yet.
I still get.
It's like no, it's actually it's going perfect. It's going perfect.
So you're in NA East?
I'm in the NA East, yeah.
They had a rough start, but now the lights are shining bright.
Let's see if the cam fucks it up, then we know.
It cleared up in Europe now. No, but it's still freeze framing.
Now look at my quality, bro, with the cam.
What your stream's like a little bit behind mine.
It's Europe though. Yeah, obviously, because I'm like on 280 ping, but it's clear as hell. So
let me try and just you say NA East.
NA East.
Okay,
you can even do NA West. That will probably be even better, because that's where Fortnite is. That's California.
The other time I couldn't get Europe to stream on the NA West, remember? I'm not gonna push it now. I need to move over quickly. Come on.
No, this is beautiful. This works.
Yeah, it does look pretty colorful on that one.
Let's put my controller on charge.
I do apologize, everybody. I'm just switching regions to NA East. It seems like the Europe server is getting stuck quite a bit.
Gone down, Redguard Clown close, but look at Vino, look at Queasy. They love high ground, and this is the match that they want to hold it. Joe has to be careful in that #1 spot. He can't go down early. See Andy almost split up from his duo partner here, but with those grapple gloves, they'll be able to continue to rotate forward.
Oh, this hit makes my hair so flat.
And he needs to try and stay ahead of the zone. That is one of the but if they don't do that,
whoa.
the teams back here who are looking scuffed.
It told me something about battle buses not hitting out or something.
What the hell?
And now he doesn't have a teammate either. This is not looking great for them. Tayson has to play as a solo.
Oh, well done. No, well done. There we go. I found the battle bus that leaves me to North America East.
So it's definitely much better.
Quite a little bit of people in Legends Landing.
Just look at this, bro. This is like I can read everything.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, I can see some proper gameplay as I'm coming in. It looks beautiful.
That's why you don't watch Europe. They're too high to maintain the quality.
Shame on you. Shame on you, Europe. Shame on you.
But GG's on the wheat though.
Yeah.
That was G fucking G's ASD.
I'm still having some graphical drop.
Thomas,
but I'm not having.
laughing.
I'm still having sticks, bro. I'm still having sticks.
Don't worry about it. It takes 2-3 seconds, then it's gonna be fixed.
be in cruise control as this endgame plays out.
Hydro, Belusi, 3 elim for Hydro. He looks above, sees Queasy and Vino, might take the opportunity to try and drop them down, takes the shots, breaks the builds, but is it going to be enough to go up above? Queasy's gone down, Vino actually gets knocked. Now Queasy's
It's
down.
terrible. I hate it when it sticks.
Yours sticks.
It sticks.
It's still freeze frame. I don't have that problem at all.
It's freezing frames and sound. And I switched over to NAEs.
That makes no sense.
Big shots needing to be hit, but they are big players and big names. Thomas HD has to do it as well. The med missile give him a bit more time to work with.
You know what? I'm gonna do something for you. Pass me that remote.
Check your mobile's YouTube, right?
No, maybe all my downloads started.
On the PlayStation 4?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Because sometimes it just starts from its own. So, no it doesn't, but it's fine. I'm gonna do this. Now it should be better already.
What did you stream from there?
One 40 cow.
But it's not done yet. The deal up above has the elimination.
Are you sure?
Yeah, 100%. Just check.
I'm sure. I think it's that cam. It's pulling it down.
Because look at mine, bro. I need to invite you to, like, you need to get into my lobby.
Yeah, I need to get the... But yours is also starting to pixelate now. Okay, anyway, send me an invite. I'm returning to lobby. While it's in between matches, let's get this going again. That was just absolutely terrible. I couldn't even see the end
it
of the
goes
match.
again, bro.
What's going on with your casting?
Because
you think we should try?
I'm living with you, then we go in together, then it's going to be fine.
I'm on NAE, so yeah. I'm ready up as soon as you choose your different creative. Just let me invite. Choose Legends Landing.
What are you?
I hope this one works out better. Like, honestly, I can't leave another lobby and have to come back again.
If this is gonna be like this the whole night, I'm just gonna steal fucking Fortnite straight up. You know what I'm saying?
Until NAE start playing and then everything is just all proper again.
Yeah, it's just a Europe thing.
By the end of it, so they were getting active. They were looking for open challenges.
Fix your bloody cars. I can see from here it's already pixelating.
And freezing.
Absolutely, and you know, I made my prediction.
God, it's just gonna have to be what it is. Sorry, it's not my
There we
fault.
go.
Europe is so utterly shit.
It's gonna fix itself. It's gonna fix itself.
Well, it better.
Nope.
No, this is ridiculous.
We're seeing the consistency as far as finishing in the top 10 is concerned, but it just seems as though there's one or two instances where this
Oh my god.
second year, this was the moment for Vino where he started to push down off of height, and it seemed as though he had perfect builds.
Come on, Europe, you can't even cast properly in NAEs. Come on.
Defend for himself, runs into Thomas. That spelled absolute catastrophe
Nope.
there, but still, they're finding themselves in a pretty strong position given the
I
fact
thought you told me it's gonna be bad.
You saw it. With your own eyes. It was. Yeah, it's already getting there.
Games that these guys usually do really well, They have a strong.
I'm not exactly sure what they need to do, but they need to do it very fast.
Oh well, you'll see. 11.
They fizzle out around 10.
Everything's just gonna be amazing.
And hopefully, I was gonna say climb up leaderboard.
Yeah, no, it needs to. They need to really fix their shit now.
Behind them, right? They all think that these will be.
I'm telling you, think about it. We watched Rocket League live the entire week, right? Not once we had the problem of the stream freezing. Okay, that we had the storm issue as well.
Yeah.
But it didn't get freeze. It didn't get freeze frames.
No pixelation, nothing. And look at Europe.
Europe's just trash.
Just looking at the points breakdown specifically, already
This is getting annoying.
It be so tight knit. I mean, 5 points within overtake threshold here for the top 5. I think that right now, even though we see Queasy and Vino on top, they need to just remain consistent. But that's something that I think is kind of their specialty.
The only thing consistent is we need consistent viewing.
Thank you for the visualization right there. I was looking at their draw. Seems like they're going to be fighting off spawn, but they've luckily not managed to get into too many tussles earlier on. And I think this is a team that when I, again, was looking through, trying to figure out who was doing good, I heard a lot of really good things about Hydro and Belusi again and again. You know, maybe it's just a lot of the fans from their respective countries. There's always got some of them behind them. But it's cool to see them now start to climb up the leaderboard.
And they're definitely finding
It still just baffles me. After the FNCS semi-finals that occurred, and so many people complaining about how trash Europe was costing, they didn't do anything to improve it.
That's just fucking live.
I mean, come on, it's a $3 million tournament. Work on your, at least your OBS, so it costs properly. I don't know what are they doing. Give me a job. Come on, I'll give you a better stream. Come on.
I mean, look at the Rocket League. We watch that shit fluently.
Dude, Rocket League's quality is on such a high. It's ridiculously how good the quality is. You can go ahead and set it down to 360p.
This shit makes me fucking wanna throw up.
I know. I tried Europe. It's bad. I tried NA East. It's bad. I know. Try NA West.
Back to Europe and try these servers, but if they fuck it up now,
There's about to be game 4. I missed the end of game 3 because of the staggering. This is just utterly trash.
Yeah, we have a little bit of high ping, but we have good internet. We're not supposed to fuck with us.
Bro, we got a gaming line. We got 1,000 megabytes download. We got 550 upload. We have no throttle. We have lead-in packages. Still, it's buffering. This is not us. This is definitely not it. It can't be.
Like since day one, it's always Europe, always been.
Every time Europe just messes up.
Doesn't stream, Oceania doesn't stream. And then Europe streams like shit. And then you get NA East and NA West that just goes smoothly.
They just come in and they completely dominate when it comes to casting. Oh my god, they're so good. I was immaculately impressed in semi-finals in NA East, definitely.
More like I did when I predicted them to qualify for the finals, but I know he's your boy and I know you're feeling excited.
No, 100%. They've worked so hard this season and it is certainly coming.
And I'm in Europe lobby and it still doesn't work right.
I'm seeing the exact freeze points and stream
on the same place.
No, I'm in NAE.
I know, but you see the same frames.
Yeah, I'm seeing. Yeah, so that means it's their stream, bro. I mean, like Europe and NA East having exactly the same problem. There's no way.
comeback needed to push themselves.
Apologies, people.
We do apologize.
I'll
It's not
turn
us.
my
It's
camera off
Fortnite.
just to make it better.
Fortnite 360HZ. I have a question. What's your question, bro?
Of the intro there, but what I'm excited to see is the 3-0 from
Come
Tayson
on.
and Chaptix. Will it be
Come
able to be a
on.
4-0 as Tayson hits the
It's starting to clear up a little bit. At least I could see some proper footage for a second.
And then it just goes.
4-0 to Tayson and Chapix off spawn.
Here we
I'm
go.
not gonna lie. At what point do you leave if you're X-Reese? And POTUS, at what point do you go, hey, it's not been looking too great for us off spawn. I kind of want to play a game out. Can we just leave these guys alone?
Look, the issue is POTUS
Well,
X-Weez.
Fortnite's putting it in their game. It's not like we're doing anything wrong. They're also putting Rocket League inside their game. And they know people is going to stream it, so it just creates like an opportunity where you can do like a watch party. It's not really copyrighted because, I mean, like, everybody inside the world is actually played. There's like 100 players in this match, so it doesn't belong to anybody. It belongs to Fortnite. So pretty much they just encourage you to do whatever the hell you want to do. But currently, Europe is not streaming all that well. Like, I'm utterly disappointed. There's a whole lot of staggering. We tested NA East, NA West. We tested Europe. Europe is currently utterly shit. It's actually broadcasting Europe better in NA East, but it's still staggering a little bit. But I wouldn't think that they would mind. Like, I've done numerous of these streams in the past, and nobody really gives a damn. Twitch is even better.
Twitch, you are safe. Twitch don't give no fucks. You can literally stream Fortnite video if you want to, and they don't even care.
That's real. That's real. You can like go on their page and watch them, and they'll be okay with it.
But now that that's true, Skydune, they've lost a majority of their HP and shield. With more than 2 opponents close by, they have the duo that was on top of that.
I wouldn't suggest streaming from the Fortnite main YouTube channel. I would rather go on FNCS and stream from their Twitch channel onto your YouTube. That way you kind of have an app overlay, so it doesn't feel like you're really taking somebody's stream. You're taking a worldwide stream rather than taking one channel stream. So rather go on the FNCS on Twitch itself.
4 on the board. 4ZR has woken up.
That example of how every duo game
Mine's freezing, bro. This is stupid.
Spawn, we win our battle against a team who probably was better than us. We get a bit lucky, and then bam, the third party rolls through. Typically, Reese goes down first, and I have to clutch up. But you know, that's a story for another day. In the case of 4ZR and Kha'Zix, though, to go in so relentlessly, so quickly, so aggressively, and to be victorious, certainly
No
must be a
problem,
good
bro.
feeling.
Pleasure.
And the kind of feeling that they'll want to continue to have throughout the rest of this game. That was a crazy, crazy start over at the Butter Barn.
And it was so quick to be
At least the sound is clearing up a little bit. It's starting to sound a little bit better. The sound is not staggering, so I have hope for the cast at this point.
that we've seen get finished off, but it's all about
I don't know, like, I'm in the Europe lobbies themselves, and they keep on pixelating and freezing.
It's not freezing all that much. I still see some pixelating occurring in NA East, but the stuttering is a little bit destroyed over there. But it's still stuttering, but not so long.
I don't know. I hate this shit. It makes me wanna puke. Because they're supposed to be smooth.
All you need to do is, you need to go on your mobile device, make sure all your applications are closed, and then stream it onto your YouTube.
I can't.
Or onto your Twitch.
Can't. There's only TikTok. It's not OBS on my phone, you know.
I wish I could see how it happened. It just keeps on freezing every time there's a good shot.
If you're Mustache and Malabuka, I'm sure you're very happy, right? Two of your biggest competition on the mid and low ground taken up. Yeah?
Yeah.
Too shabby.
Find it interesting, Malabuka and Mustache, though, they seem unharmed, unscratched. Fully cleaned up after that. Pretty quick one. But Pinkin and Nas are looking to also finish off.
This is annoying me. This is annoying me so hard.
Oh well, there's nothing we can do about it.
So seems like they found a solo trying to escape, but there is a duo close by. It's Hellfire, it's Flowish. They're coming in for the third party. So Pinkin and Nos, they have to finish this quickly if they don't want that third party to be extra dangerous, but they're already here.
I'm gonna try something very extreme.
Yeah, Jurdy was already taken out.
Settings.
How far is the Rocket League?
Sort of lurking around.
I'm gonna drop the contrast.
Oh, so
Hold on. I'm gonna drop it down to 1. Let's see if it just clears it up a little bit. No, it's definitely not even a contrast setting. Like, I'll put it way down, and the stream is still messing around.
The one player they were looking to connect onto, unfortunately, will escape.
That's why it's important to be aware. Always know what's happening in your surroundings. And Vortex, hi Chris.
This is rough, man. This is rough. I'm even having some sound pauses now.
Why they are, as they've got themselves contested by Fakey and Freemark, but now.
It's gonna be Cape Corp versus Falcons, starting in 2 minutes and 47 seconds.
Top.
I don't know. It's so embarrassing for Fortnite at this point. Like Fortnite Championship Series, go learn from our Rocket League Championship Series because they just have it right. You guys, I don't know what you're doing.
Their sharpness, awareness.
There's probably somebody inside this lobby that has like 2 megabyte ping or something and just dragging down everything.
And if they can continue to get there, there's no doubt
people are even starting to leave. Like, yeah, Fortnite, you're messing around now.
We saw Thomas went down earlier in the game.
Oh.
Especially as
I'm gonna die in the storm. How am I supposed to get...
I'm pretty sure everybody has that problem, that's why everybody's leaving. Okay. You see everybody leaving the lobbies because there's fucking pixelation and freezing.
I got caught up in the storm.
I don't know why.
And then they said that somebody won the game. It was just terrible.
Has been left alone, trying to reboot
I don't know,
I'm gonna try anyways. Let's see if we can get a little bit more lucky with broadcasting from there.
How did they get bossed by Mustache?
I don't know, like...
I'm about to throw and break a screen.
I don't know really what Fortnite's doing at this point. First, they messed up with Champions on it. Like, we waited like almost 3 weeks to get that back bling. Then they messed up the FNCS shop. Now they're messing up the FNCS Cup. Come on.
Get enough, but luckily for them, they got the eliminations in the mid game. This is why we now see them in the center of the map, farming up, trying to prioritize position, pick up enough storm surge tags so that doesn't happen like it did in the last game.
We're able to pick up the elims, but weren't able. Buka, just like Minnie said, yes.
Yeah, they're just looking for positioning, and they also just nothing too special, you know. Special things for Malabuka Mustache, right?
Guild. They wanted to do the same here as Loki. I've seen him popping off recently. He's been doing a great job. Elims, the issue is these
Maybe muted,
in the
but
middle of the zone in Rave Cave.
Even NA West has staggering, dude. Like, your stream is disgusting. What are you guys doing?
Though, one Elim on the board, trying to get the other one, and now new streak.
look at me, I'm in Europe and we're exactly the same freezes.
Dude, I'm having that low graphics freeze. My character is just standing up and doing some funny things.
No, not a place we see much of.
Yeah, there's clearly action going down that we can't see. Oh my goodness.
I want to end this until the last match on God and just do NA East and NA West.
I was really anticipating to see
Yeah, well,
they stop in Europe.
This won't work. The only way we can do that shit is off the Rocket League's done.
Rocket League's still gonna be going on.
Watch, you are in like NA West, right? I'm in Europe. Both of our screens just froze the fuck up.
That's why I say it's not the regions, it's Fortnite, it's FNCS.
EU, and it's the Europe tournaments. That's the worst.
Just smack them in the face round about now. God, come on, fix your streak.
I'm so sleepy, bro.
You're ruining my viewers' watch party. What's going on? What's going on?
Mine's also frozen, stuck.
Oh, God. It's just like completely frozen.
And Rocket League is still streaming perfectly.
They're still streaming like a boss, like their ads are running beautifully. Everything's just perfect, and then you get to this FNCS, and it's just utter bullshit.
Oh well, doesn't help everybody just staring in the standstill screen. I'ma just fucking say fuck this shit and stream NA. Cause there's nothing we can do about it, bro. There's nothing we can do about it. Look at this shit. It's stuck.
It's so stuck.
And
so
you
stuck.
are like in a different region. That makes no sense. And it's on exactly the same screen.
Yeah, dude, I'm like 10,000 miles from you, like, seriously.
All these people... What y'all looking at? Y'all watching something? I bet y'all ain't seeing shit.
There's so many people even a mile over here at the bottom.
I mean, I'm gonna give it one more shot. I'll give you one shot.
Come on. Cook with us.
But I don't think Europe's gonna fix that. I don't think so.
These people are just killing me.
No.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Whoop, 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 whoop. You guys also experiencing the same thing?
Everybody in my lobby like started leaving. You can see standing up and just left because you could see everybody.
I'm gonna actually quickly turn my voice chat on. I want to see if they also have the same problem.
Okay.
If I can get there.
They were friends only. Yeah. Go to
everybody. Yo, what's going on, guys?
Bro, you in my party. You have to fucking leave the party.
Oh, God.
Click at the top. If you press start, you can say game channel. Then you click on the game chat at the top. And then when you come back, you just click on it again. You see over there? Look at it. Yeah, there.
Yeah, what's going on, everybody? Is your stream also frozen currently? Anybody can hear me?
Oh, mine's on again, and I just went to NA East again.
NA East again?
Yeah. It looks pretty well.
But luckily enough, they're high up right now. on the mountain.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Can you guys actually see the stream, or was it frozen up here as well?
On players who are
Oh, this is perfect. This is perfect.
Tripper and Thomas,
Perfect.
something went down.
Okay, I'm leaving lobby. Send me invite.
But now with Tripper going down, he's traded positions with his duo partner. He said, all right, it's your turn to play solo.
Yeah, I did say Trippin and Thomas are back in the game, but for how much longer will they be in the game? It doesn't seem like much longer at all. Thomas is down to bare bones, and he's very fortunate to even still be alive this long. They are just chasing after him.
I just honestly hope it goes better now.
A lonely cat.
Just so far it looks pretty well. No pixelation, no freeze frames. I've been in for about a minute.
Oh, it's telling me to just join.
As they seem to see the builds come through the rotate. As now the shots just need to be connected here. And for the player trying to make his way into zone. This is not.
Only you can prevent V-Bucks scams. Do not share your passwords. People share their PlayStation accounts or share PlayStation subscription. Come on. Of course they're sharing their Fortnite accounts. Yo, hack, I'll put V-Bucks for you. Boom, account gone. Oh, I can hear some proper gameplay finally.
No, this is proper.
Come on, NIE, so you're gonna pull through for us properly? Yo, all of the watchers, I do apologize sincerely. FNCS was just playing. I know, it wasn't good at all.
Pink and Anas, we were talking about them. This is an incredibly strong duo in these finals. They've been playing so well. And will they be able to keep it up is the real question here. They're close on the Storm Surge right now. They need a bit of damage, but a duo that needs more. Vico and Jackson forced to go straight in here. You can see the concentration. The shots have to connect. Duo gone down. Jackson has been down. Vico now.
Oh, my controller, I swear it has analog drift.
Keep himself standing. Keep himself up as he goes in, hits the first
It just moved my character all the way across the screen without me pressing anything.
And that is incredibly unfortunate because when they are firing, they are such an exciting team to watch. For a reason to know O'Reilly, they haven't been a team we've had much chance to watch at all. They do seem to just struggle to make it to these latter stages of the game. And once again, they will fall before we hit that point. Taking along some big names along the way, but ultimately they would follow suit as well. Malabuka still in this game, but currently in 10th place. He has a lot to do to keep a top 10 position.
It's doable though. I see that and I think doable. Malibuka, he can make it happen, but he doesn't want to go up against a duo like Tayson and Chapix, which is the duo rotating in front of him. Luckily enough, he might be able to use this as an opportunity to rotate through, but Chapix has spotted him in and out. Says, oh no, there's a player trying to reuse our rotate. We're not going to let that happen. As now they have to continue to move forwards. The shots come in from afar. And for Pink and Anas, they're still in their box. They're still strong. And now, with 5th zone, half in, half out, coming to a close. The rotates come through. The players begin moving, finding the right path. Which is the route they need to take to make it to the finish line? And which route is going to be the one that doesn't have a vision onto Pink and Anas, which are the ones trying to stop them?
Yeah, for all of the players who aren't currently in the zone, getting up above this elevation is going to be key. Don't want to be getting stuck down below. The good thing for Queasy and Veno is even though they aren't all the way up above, their grapple gloves will give them the room and the space for options. And not only is it options to move into better positions, but also an option now to pick up some limbs along the way. Cheating, very fortunate to still be alive right now.
Ooh.
And Veno just constantly looking for players to try and pick up. It's actually eye drop that fell. Queasy was the one to
that guy just got scratched, bro.
Our first place team dealing heavy damage here.
And now up above in the sky, Vortex High Chris, they had such a strong position, but when the 6th zone, the first moving, pulls the opposite side, you have to be quick to react, quick to rotate. But Hydra was quick to go down, leaving Belusi alone now. Down below, hits the 129 shot, cracking his opponent, and he just needs one more. 27 white. One little shot could be enough. The issue is the zone is going to start closing. And now even if he connects this shot, he also has to make it to the zone.
Oh, this is so difficult, but it's a challenge he won't be afraid of. No! It was so almost there. He had a knock. There was another med mist as well, but he just ran out of time. So unfortunate for Belusi, but the game must go on. And for Malabuka, he'll be hoping things can move on and more players can continue to fall, because that would go a long way for him. He's just trying to stay ahead, be inconspicuous. For the likes of Vino and Queasy, what will be their move? Will they look to try and usurp high ground from High Chris and Vortex? How do they get the victory on the game? That will be their thought process. For Vidil and Dallas, similar thinking. How can we be the ones to get another victory royale?
On the high ground, High Chris, Queasy, Vino, they've been trying it for so long. They've been able to secure the high ground, but maintaining it is what's difficult. And this engagement, it's going to be one of the most important for this duo, as now they do have shield. They do have HP, but they quickly decide, let's drop down. We're going to look for it later. Chapix Payson, 5 elims on the board, rotating on the side of the zone. But be careful of who comes into your tower, who comes into your home, as now Chapix is cracked down, forced to pop these chug splashes, get a little wet as he continues his way into the zone. And now Payson has gone down. Playing as a solo, it's become dangerous.
That's so unfortunate. Chapix found the right avenue, but Payson couldn't follow, and eventually Chapix will run into a dead end. Queasy and Veno, they remain alive though, but for how much longer can they stay up? They're gonna have to look for a refreshing soon. How has Malabuka stayed alive for this long though? That's gonna be a big question after this one is done. But for the meantime, up above, you can see a battle is breaking out for Strokey with a huge shot onto High Chris, and he has mean intentions. He wants the high ground, and he has it for now.
High Chris no longer high up for Strokey now, and Kylie up above. But for Janet and Vidil, down in the dirt, they need to find something here. Cheating close by, one shot away. Paco Crusty up, trying to find an elevation away up to the top, as now they have the chug splashes. But what they don't have are those materials. 0 builds for Paco, cannot make any construction. He has to get a refresh.
Oh my goodness, Vino almost accidentally boxing a player as he moved on through. Malabuka though, moving like the boss right now in this lobby. Can he stay up though? 88. Can he connect with more? He needs to, because he's such low HP. There's a flopper there. I don't think he realized it though, and he certainly doesn't have the time to go back. And so now, having to stay alive with players down below, he knows the opportunities are there. He just has to connect, and for the first time maybe in his career, isn't able to connect with key shots. And so Malabuka will fall at the hands of the deal. Ziandi, Joe stuck beneath the ground, needing the zone to pull away so that they can stay alive, and that's exactly what will happen. But if they're not careful, Vidil's gonna rock up. He takes out Queasy, and he's looking to do more, but eventually will fall as well.
Joe and Ziandi kicking the rocks down below, but they have to kick more than just the rocks if they want to take this victory royale. Kylie, Fast Strokey, they had a great retake up above, but they have to finish it off. The Strokey getting cracked. Joe now with the advantageous spot as he has to connect one more shot, but he's unable to do so. And Kylie and Fastrokey.
Kylie and Fastrokey! Did you see what I just saw? That height take was fantastic. Fastrokey had no fear in his heart or mind. He knew exactly what he wanted to do, and he executed it brilliantly. A big pump shotgun shot to finish things out above, and then they close out the game from there. Cool as you like. Of course, making it a bit close at the end, right, as you always have to do when it comes to the HP, but eventually they were able to be victorious in this game. This duo now moves way up in the standings and causes an issue for everybody else.
I'm loving to see how the high ground has been changing up throughout these matches. We saw Queasy and Vino go for it early on, and Fastrokey and Kylie, they weren't even there until later on, but they cleaned it up in the perfect moment, hit the shots they needed to, got the position when they needed it the most, and were able to carry it through to the end.
Look, Frostroki's no stranger to hitting big shots in games like these. A simply special shot for a special player, a victory royale for that team. Can they continue to hit big shots though? We're going to send it to the analysts to break down that game as we head into the last couple.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Just 2 games left to go here on just day number 1. Remember, we're looking to play across 2 days. We have 12 games, 4 down, and there's still quite a bit to unpack after everything has been said and done. I think you want to start with Joe, though.
I don't. I want to start with Queasy instead.
Oh, Queasy.
Oh,
of course.
Right?
You know.
Of course.
Community favorite, no big deal.
My favorite, too, maybe. Actually, I have too many favorites. I can't say that. Of
Might
course.
as well be everybody's at this point.
It might as well, of course. Queasy and Vino, we saw them take high ground again, or trying for it, trying to fight for it, trying to battle for it. And I was like, this is the game. Because as they were trying to do that this time, we said the previous game didn't have as many materials. Here's the complete difference. 90 builds on Vino, and I'm sure Queasy will have more because he's usually the one who has way more than that. Basically what they need to get going. They had a good start, tried to take high ground after getting a couple of refreshes, and unfortunately it just didn't work out for them this game, but they still managed to have a great game out of it.
And I think one of the most impressive parts about this duo as well is that, sure, their Elam count might not be the highest out of the entire lobby, but at the same time, they're doing a great job maintaining their builds management. They're doing an even better job, though, with their surge management, Reese. It really just feels as though this duo in particular has never had to worry about the added pressure from those zones and the surge on top of it.
And this is like a far zone for them, too. This is a complete south side of the map, and they don't even need to struggle with surge then. Usually it's easier when it's in your home zone, but for them, this was max distance.
No, and that's the other thing, too, is that I think Queasy and Vino, they kind of just have such a strong understanding that even as they're maintaining their mobility, trying to maintain that high ground control, it seems as though they're just completely aware of their surroundings. They're making sure to get their tags in early. They're making sure to maintain those tags throughout. And honestly, it's just led to them being consistent. But we know that's what they're best at.
I think when we see the leaderboards.
These right here?
These right here?
We'll take
I'm wrong.
Top to bottom, Joe and Ziandi do take over. But I think the key factor here is in 6th place, Fastroki, Kylie, they get themselves that victory royale. They move up the 9 places, and now this is a duo looking to break into top 5.
Yeah, this is massive for them as well, because out of the 4 set lobbies that they've played so far this season, they've only had 1 game that was in the top 10, and that was the game that they won in the semi-finals. So if we're going to put pieces together here, every game they've gotten into the top 10 so far, they've actually managed to win. So this is massive for them starting already and moving up the leaderboards.
That was a fat shot, though, from Frostroki, just absolutely dominating Andy on the end point there. And a little bit tragic as well when you think about it for Andy, because this is just kind of seeming to be a little bit of a repeat from earlier rounds. They're just so close, but no cigar.
Exactly. Now, we have a lot of our top teams, Jonesy, Andy, Fadil, Janice, also a massive solo clutch for them. Loved it. Pinker and Ass, for a moment, were in 1st place. I saw the golden sparkles, because if we went the previous game, I think it was like 93, 92 or something. Really, really close to the top of the leaderboard what it was. So huge for them. They obviously picked up a couple of early eliminations that pushed them up, but they weren't able to outshine the likes of Joe and Ziandi, who play 2nd.
But we have been seeing them completely outshine every single one of their, I shouldn't say every single one of their past performances, but if you look at the history of this duo, I think in general, this is without a doubt, as mentioned earlier, probably one of their best showings yet. It's just amazing to see the consistency really start to fall into place for them. We've been seeing them time and time again in those final 10 duos, and I think at this rate, they're looking to set themselves up pretty nicely for day 2.
That's what this is all about. Remember, with the 6 games tomorrow, you know they want to cement themselves in a good spot. Talk about Storm Surge, because I'm kind of curious to see how that's developing.
I'm coming. So on this, we're going to notice, purple, the mood has been set, because we're going to be talking about Storm Surge, of course. To enable to keep yourself from being damaged from the lobby, you need to do some damage to other players. And what I want to point out is the first zone here, of course. This is our map. It was down in this southeast corner. So we actually have to look at the Coney Crossroads area. This is where Andlex and Snazy drop, right? And one of the things they can do in a zone like this is they can look up to all of these teams up here, because they're going to be rotating into this direction, right? So if we play, let's hit fellas on those clips. You'll see that they actually managed to get the one taxi that's on the map, and they can box it up in their drop spot. So they're going to hide it here, because remember that zone pulls down. So if they've got a far zone, they can use this to rotate. And this is what they build, a massive tower. Now, they usually build this out of brick instead to make it a little bit more solid, but they've just done it out of wood this time. Can I give you some analysis on why? Probably not, just to save some mats at that point. Now they've got such great vision over the entire area of all those teams that are rotating in. And now with the far zone, they can just use this car to keep themselves moving all the way down, of course, into what will be a southeast zone for them.
I love it, man. I'm telling you.
I love you.
Reese, I was going to make a good point. You can't just throw me off and say that.
You got to be a professional. You got to stay the course.
Impossible.
Moving kind of fast.
Impossible. But it is that time because we are ready to jump on that battle bus once again. But it's the penultimate game with 2 games left to go. How will these players look to ready themselves going into day 2? Let's find out. This is game 5.
Game 5.
The 5th opportunity for players to shake the standings up. We've already seen some great plays be made all throughout the day, but in game 5 and 6, those are the games where you start to really solidify yourself as a potential champion.
Look, normally this would be the last or a second to last match of the tournament. But with the whole other day to go, this is just the second to last match of the day. This is the time where the players have already figured out how the lobby is working, how their opponents are playing, but they want to finish strong. They want that confidence boost for day number 2. They want to be at the top of the leaderboard so they don't have to do as much work in the second day, but it's up to the duos to prove themselves.
Of course, and this is what the FNCS is all about, right? Proving to your competitors, proving to your fans, proving to yourself that you have what it takes to be the champion at the end of it. I think the big thing now is, are we going to start to see more drastic changes? We've already seen some minor ones where teams are moving into different places on the map. We've seen a couple players get bossed off spawn a couple times and not moving. So as we head into this 5th game, will that change? Will we see people finally decide they don't want the smoke with a couple players by the name of Tayson and Chapix off spawn? That will be the big question.
You've said it yourself, but we're focusing on Vaniac and Karmi, another duo in one of those almost 50-50 early game engagements as Vaniac is forced to make a run for it without a weapon, and Karmi with the DMR trying to connect the shots, but it's difficult, especially at a close range when you have more medium to long range weapon to work with. This Karmi now is going to get knocked out. What I'm curious is Tayson and Chapix, they're 4-0. Will they be able to make it 5-0? We'll find out now as Tayson's gone down. Chapix in the 1 versus 2. He gets the first one, and he's 1 shot away from getting the second one. But Puttasai gets the refresh. He gets the siphon, 50 HP from finishing off Tayson. And he takes down Chapix. 4-0 now turned into 4-1.
Wow, okay. So, Puttasai and Xweez decided to stick to their guns and continue to contest at the north of Loot Lake. And finally, they have won off spawn against Tayson and Chapix. Wow, it took them a while, but I guess there's no better time than the present. And so they now have the chance to fight in this game. But for Tayson and Chapix, having to spend the next almost half an hour just sitting back and watching is not going to be a fun time whatsoever.
Look, it's exciting to see who takes home the tournament, but it's also exciting to see these off-spawn engagements and who is able to win a majority of the times. For Force and Shizo here, 34th spot. They need to do more than just win an off-spawn engagement. Flixie and Frey down below. No shields to their name, but a knock. Force gone down. Now Frey unable to help his teammate with the last elimination, but Flixie is more than comfortable enough taking out the last one. 1 elim for each player, and now they'll continue moving forwards.
Yeah, and that's good because obviously we saw Frey and Flixie go down last game, and so going down 2 games in a row like that would have put their mental in a really bad spot going into that final game. And as much as there's so much preparation tactically for these players, there's so much preparation technically getting your mechanics up to scratch. One of the biggest and most important factors on the day of FNCS final is your mental game. Can you keep that in check? And there are always going to be hurdles that you face along the way. Going down off spawn is certainly one of them. But we'll see how Frey and Flixie are able to bounce back and use this opportunity that they have here in game 5.
It's all about keeping your mentality up. If you're like Tayson and Chapix, who've won 4 of the off-spawn engagements and you just lose your first one, they're not going to let it affect them too much. I mean, they're still up on the leaderboard. They're still doing a great job, and there's 12 matches to be played out. does the GGs go next? But for Janice and Vadil, second place spot, uncontested in Greasy Grove. They're feeling more than happy right now if they're able to keep their position. But a duo that might not be feeling as happy. Seti and Cammy in 18th, they went down early in the last match, dropped them in the leaderboard. But Kha'Zix and 4ZR, they've been showing their dominance at the start of these matches.
Yeah, this is now another game where we're seeing them win a fight early on. And so, yeah, certainly a decent couple of games for these two in terms of the earlier phase of the game. It's all about doing it, though, in the latter stages as well, which is where the question mark will be about that team. A little bit of info there. Queasy and Vino, the only duo that has placed top 10 in every game. That is good news to my ears as somebody who has predicted them to win the whole thing. But also for them, it's just shown their consistency. Their level of understanding is so far ahead and beyond everybody else in the lobby that they just know that they can consistently make it deep into games without any real struggles, it seems. But can they do that again across these next two and the 6 tomorrow as well?
That is the question. Can they do it? Just like can Flowis and Hellfire get the 2 eliminations they need here? Already performing so well in top 10. But they want more than that. They want to push themselves up. Have the chug splashes. Have double grapple gloves. They do land on those grapple gloves on the east side. So it's good to see them making it off spawn every match. The issue is they need that damage. They need those tags. And a duo that needs more than just tags. Default Stormy right. As his duo partner's gone down and he knows there's duos close by, he can't try and disengage right now. They could find him as a solo, catch him off guard. And Mr. Savage in hand looking a lot like Seti and Cammy on this hill right now.
Yeah, this is a position that we often see Cammy and Seti take up. It's interesting to see that Mr. Savage actually is taking that position now. Of course, they do share a coach now, actually, with Mr. Savage joining BL. So maybe some shared strategy there. But the big concern right now on our screens is the fact that Queasy's actually gone down. I'm assuming he was knocked while trying to take a Bloom fight, which isn't uncommon, but not the kind of thing you want to see from a team that has been doing so well in the competition. Fortunately for them, though, it means that they will all be picked up with some relative ease.
Got a little scared there when Queasy went down as Clown and Refsguard were both up, but luckily enough, Clown and Refsguard had to recuperate the HP and shield they lost previously and didn't have time to make a push. Now, the revives came through. JJ2 aware. Looking to see if they can deny a revive opportunity as both players are up right now. And they're just playing it a bit slow. Getting the angles, getting the shots. They know that there's players from afar taking shots as well. That's why JJ2 is covering multiple angles here. Does not want to lose unnecessary shield. And aware, helping out at a different side, trying to sandwich an opponent and just find that opening.
This is a fight between two teams that very much has shown across this season that they, when given the chance, when given the moment, can certainly shine bright. But in the case of Aware and JJ2, it's been a rather dim day. And for Swag and Pablo, even though it hasn't been bad per se, they'll certainly be hoping that they can win this fight on and continue to move up on the leaderboard. 14th place is not too bad at all.
But the more they continue to seek, the more they hunt, the more the clock ticks. First zone still permits them to take more time, but there hasn't been a big entry into this engagement yet. It's been more little tickling each other until one of them finds the right moment to strike, and Aware might have done just that as he gets 2 nice tags, but it's not one big enough to give him the confidence to go all in here. His duo partner now cracked, forcing him to have to try and bring a bit of backup, but he just has to focus on not getting caught off here when you're taking these 2v2 box fights, the worst thing that can happen is one of you to get boxed up and eliminated quickly without giving the chance of your duo partner to help out. And with Aware and JJ2 taking 2 different angles, it opens up that possibility for their opponents to pick one of them off guard, but so far they're playing it well enough defensively that they haven't got elim'd, but the time is still going down. The clock, it's still ticking.
This might be a bit random, right? But I'm actually surprised because typically in these kind of zones, Queasy would be positioned up on that big shifty hill. And so I would have expected these guys to have this fight, you know, somewhat third-partied from a distance, but those shots haven't been coming in. We just saw in the map view 2 pairs of arrows in shifty, so I believe actually Queasy and Venom might be in a bit of trouble over there. Because I would have expected them to maybe have taken advantage of those players. We'll see, though, what happens as the game moves on for Mustache and Malibuka, though. We obviously saw Malibuka having to clutch as a solo for a large part of that final game. Well, not final game, but the game we just saw. And he actually did quite well, Takar.
He did more than quite well. I mean, he played as a solo from 5th zone, not even first moving, even before that, and clutched it into the top 5. That is incredibly difficult, but you said it yourself, Levin. Queasy, Vino, why weren't they on the hill? It's because they were in trouble. But is that trouble gonna be enough to take them out? As we've seen the dominance from this duo throughout these matches. 3rd place spot up above now. Not forced to take the engagement, so they might just disengage and go to the position we'd see them normally.
Yeah, they're saying not forced, but certainly having to pay for it. Look how much materials they've had to use. Look at the HP Venom lost along the way. This has certainly been a costly fight for this team, even if there wasn't any definitive conclusion. And so we'll see how they reinvent themselves in this one. Things clearly going a bit off script for them, with Clown and Rescard jumping into the picture. But that's what makes a great IGL, and IGL is able to adapt when things do go. So if Queasy truly is the best IGL in the game, hopefully we'll see that reflect in how this game goes for this team.
Not just this game, this whole tournament. As we've said it multiple times, but I can't stress it. Queasy Vino, they have a big shot of taking it home, but they're gonna have to perform to do so. We're seeing a little bit of pop shots coming in from Guden and Vaken here. Only 19 above, so they are on a little bit of a stressful situation, but with that shot coming through, connecting, that stress slowly is getting taken away as the engagement goes upwards, gets higher and higher. The risk also gets higher as the vision for the players in the surroundings, the openings appear. And now Paco up top, close to Walks, close to Rabob. Paco has to find something to do here or he's getting knocked out.
He didn't even give me enough time to say anything, mate. Walks and Rabob. Again, this has been a team that's been very, very quiet so far today. In the first game, they had a bit of struggles as well, unfortunately. Some technical difficulties on their side meant that they didn't start off the day the best way. And so hopefully now they've reset mentally and they can start to get back involved in the action. Rico! Okay, he's hitting shots again. I say that and he misses one, but eventually will connect again. And look at the scream! Oh my goodness!
I bet I can hear that myself right now.
I really do not want to hear what he said there, but I am very happy for them picking up both of those at Tilted Towers. But that's why people talk so highly of Vico. His mechanical prowess is top-notch, one of the best mechanical players in competitive Fortnite right now.
What you love to see as we switch on over. I drop Jerky 27 below, and Jerky, he cannot stand a tick of Storm Surge as iDrop is forced to find these tags quickly or his duo partner is gonna go down, and there it is. Jerky goes down, iDrop left alone, 74 below, shots coming in from his side. Opponents hearing that ticking, that lightning bolt striking, onto iDrop. The crack comes through, but they can't push him as a solo as there is another engagement going on. It's Refsguard, it's Clown. From Queasy Vino to Aware. Gets the Elim. iDrop as well going down. And now for this duo, although they've got into the eliminations, they have to make their way to the zone. And as Karma goes down in this engagement, it opens up a shot for Thomas HD and Tripburn, but being cracked, he has to spend this time to recuperate what he lost.
I don't even know what I just saw. I feel like we just went from so much action at Shifty to a big fight over here that has now cooled down with Marion and Nebs being able to stay alive, but they haven't quite done too well overall on the standings. There are still opportunities to change that. Janice and Vidil, the team that currently holds second place. What can they do in this fight? Barely staying alive.
5 health. That was a close one, Levin.
Yes, about as close as you can get, right? You know, very nervy situations for Janice, but I'm sure he was cool and calm the whole time round, knowing that Vidil was just around the corner to help him out. Back over to the Shifty action, though. You don't want to hear me talk about Vidil and Janice. You want to hear me talking about this fight between Veno, Queasy, Clown, and Refsguard. Veno.
Be careful, Veno. This is not a position you want to be in. They disengaged from the engagement initially, but now walking back through as Refsguard and Clown, that much more confidence from the 3 eliminations.
Do they have whites? To get Veno back up, I think they do.
They have a little... Oh, no. Veno doesn't even have shields.
They don't have whites.
Queasy has minis. No whites. This is dangerous, Levin.
Time is running out. They just have to run away and find something or just hit the shots, and just a matter of seconds left to do it. The desperation clearly in Queasy's eyes right now, and almost got the chance gifted to them, but Refsguard and Clown stayed true. And so Queasy and Veno, a team so high up in the standings, 3rd place it was, going down in game 5.
They went down to the 33rd spot, 3rd zone. That's going to affect them on the leaderboard, but the good news is this isn't the second last match of the tournament. It's only the second last match of the day. A whole other day ahead of them after this. But for the duos that want to finish strong, Merstash Malibuka from the solo clutch in the last match. They want to keep on going on the feed. I also just saw Clown as well. I believe picked up an Elim.
No, he went down.
He went down, Clown.
He went down to Storm, I think, maybe.
So even though he got the Elim, it wasn't enough to get him to zone.
Yeah, he's actually taken out the game completely, Clown, actually. Wow.
There you go, you see it now. Refsguard as well has been taken out. But for the duo still in this match, Malibuka, Merstash, I'm looking forward to seeing if they can get a big match now. From the solo clutch last match to now playing as a duo, it's a lot easier to do it together. I wasn't even able to pick up that elimination. Doesn't look like it. Or maybe Merstash was. He was. It was Nefrizi. Good quick little Elim, and now they'll continue to rotate.
Pink and Anaso. Team now is the team that moves into 3rd place with Queasy and Veno going down. And can they start to catch up to Janice and Vidil? Can they start to push and make that 3rd place slot even more unattainable for their counterparts? That will be the question. And based off of the way they've been playing, that's definitely a possibility.
Ooh, look at this though. Z Andy. Joe no longer up. This is a dangerous position, especially for the leaderboard. As now the names that are up at the top, if Zandy does go down, it's going to give them that option to take that 1st place spot.
Yeah, just a moment there ago, we saw Jackson and Vico. Wrong set of Germans there. Actually were over peaking, and so had to use up a bit of their shields, but they've now protected their backs. You can see there, they just put the walls around them. There's an extra bit of protection. But like you were alluding to, for Ziandi, this is such a bad spot to be in. I was going to say, you probably should use those bandages, my friend.
Good idea.
It would be a smart play, yeah.
They should be in there. Coach and Ziandi telling him, pop those bandages, keep it going. But if he can do anything like Malibuka did in the last match, could be very beneficial to set himself up for the last match of today, first day of the finals. But Vidil and Janus now, you can even see they seem to have either been tied with Joe and Ziandi or taking the spot. It must be tied. So the leaderboard in that top 3, top 5, it's so close that any of these top duos can take it. But for Andalix and Snazy, they're gonna have to take it in a different match. They do go down here. Grapple gloves being used to harpoon up the loot. Neb's getting an elim on the feed. And now Pablo and Swag, they've set themselves up just that much more.
Nixon and Artur currently the team just on the cusp. 10th place is where they sit. And will they be able to move on up, get into the single digits? That is the ultimate goal. And as they make their way on into zone, committing a fair few amount of materials, but it was their best bet. And now that they've gotten in ahead of a couple other teams, they will have opportunities to look back. Maybe get those materials back if they can find an elim.
You can see now all these players rotating in to that 5th zone. The half in, half out that's pulled partially onto the water at the north side of Tilted Towers here. And Ziandi, he's looking to make it happen, but 176 below, he's gonna have to do something first. It's gonna be get damage. It's gonna be even getting elimination. 107 Eddie. He goes down and he's fully eliminated. And that's another one for Ziandi. That's 3.
What have we just seen from Ziandi? That is not normal. That is far from normal. You won't see something like that every day. Ziandi, are you serious?
I can't believe it, Levin. This is crazy. This is setting Ziandi up for this late game. Gets the
Ziandi just went crazy. Killing 3 people in a row. They didn't even know what was hitting them, bro. That was insane.
Clutches we've ever seen, but I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves here as he's just getting started. And now Pink and Anas still a duo up. Vico, Jackson, so many powerful teams moving forward.
And look, you can see they're trying to rotate along the blind side of that height team, making sure to rotate right beneath their build so they can't be spotted. They can save and cheap out on a couple maps as well, and it works out so well for them. The grapple glove being used to move Ziandi closer to the zone. As much as he did a spectacular feat in front of our faces, he is still lacking in terms of materials, and so does need to be conservative about the way he uses them. For Vico, he needs to just try to stay with Jackson. Needs to get back up a layer, and that's what he'll do. Janus and Vidil still have a fighting chance. The armored walls give them a bit of extra time as Vidil needed to heal up, and that's now down. And so Pink as a solo, we've seen this so many times today already. And that's exactly what he's done every single time. Pick up some sort of an elim, but can he pick up more?
Oh, Ziandi as well. Goes down. Now, Janus Vidil continuing to move it forwards. Pink was looking to make something happen as well, but now with only 10 HP, he's got the grapple glove, he's got the minis, but he needs to recuperate that HP, that shield. He's been a demon today, but he has to finish off strong. Second to last match. Vico now as well as a solo. Jackson's gone down. Mustache still has his duo partner up.
Mustache and Malabuka on the mid layers as a duo. This is a very scary thing, but not for them, for everybody else, and for all the solos who are lurking around. Vidil and Janus, though, they might still have something to say about this. We've already seen them win a game today, and they definitely have what it takes to do it again. Another game, though, where Mr. Savage and Hen are deep in the game. Things are changing, things are turning, but can they now deliver?
This could be the comeback we've been looking for Mr. Savage and Hen, but for Thomas HD, he's lost his duo partner. 23 HP to work with. He has the auto shotgun, connects the shots, but it's not enough to stay up. Vico, though, might be able to get enough. He knocks down Hen, he knocks down Pablo, and he doesn't seem to be done yet as he gets the finish, recuperates his shields, and now with 6 elims, is gonna move forward.
And this is perfect timing now for Mustache and Malabuka. They are so aware, and they chop height out. It was just on one ramp. That was too easy for them to take and say no to. And so now They really do. Sit in the prime position. Xwee flushed out of the lobby. What a shot that was. Vidil, Janice, still though, looking up for height. We know that's exactly where they want to be. But can they take it? It's going to be hard.
They see the stars. They want to make their way up. But Swag, he wants to stay up as he's a solo, just like Vico. But Vico, he's a train right now, running through his opponents one after the other, trying to pick up a med mist in the zone. He wants to be able to tank a bit of storm, just like Swag is doing here. He has the med mist going, but for the duos that are up, they're looking to finish this match off.
Yeah, but how can they finish this match with so little materials? Vidil and Janice really are going to be relying on the teams in zone, but they're not going to come anytime soon. Swag is doing whatever he feels like right now, and so Janice, as a solo with no materials, just his shotgun and some HP to dance around with, will be taken out by Mustache. Malabuka has fallen, and so a 1v1 against Swag and a 1v1 that Mustache looks primed to win. We know his ability. We know he is key in big moments, and this is exactly what that is, the biggest of moments. Game 5 of the FNCS final, and Swag has had the time to rejuvenate his HP, and so maybe there is still a chance for him. What will happen in this 1v1?
Mustache up above, showing the dominance here as he just needs to connect that shot. Misses the first one, but it's okay. He hasn't lost shields. He hasn't lost HP. Swag being the initiator here, going up, trying to find that angle. Needed to connect. Both players connect one. Now, with one shot away, he uses that build, that cone to trap him into the storm, and he goes down. Mustache and Malabuka take the VR.
Swag ran out of HP in the storm there, but he certainly did make it close. Malabuka and Mustache, though, finally having a good game again, and one that will definitely go a long way in the standings. They saw the opportunity for height and they took it so well. It was just on one ramp, instantly chopping it out and then closing out the game. Malabuka and Mustache win game 5.
This is what you love to see. In the last match, Malabuka solo clutched it throughout the whole end game. And now in this match, Malabuka went down, but Mustache said, I'm not the only one that can solo clutch. He secures Elim after Elim, and not only that, he gets the crown on top.
And the key there as well is brilliant, because it comes down to just some of the basic Fortnite fighting fundamentals. A little simple cone. Trapping your opponent in the zone and winning the game out like that. That was very, very clean. But how will it affect the standings, Takata, is the question.
That's the question, right? And there's only 3 people that can let us know. It's Zeke, it's Taco, and it's Reese.
Game number 5 of the FNCS finals, and I'm losing my mind. Now, we will come back to Malabuka and Mustache, but I kind of want to work bottom to top here for just a moment. So let's kind of start at the bottom here with Vidil and Janice.
Hey, they're not gonna like you saying start at the bottom with these.
Listen, hey, they're my prediction. I trust you guys. I believe. I'm here with you.
Yeah, they're amazing, of course. And right now, I think they're probably in first, because obviously they were going up against Ziandi, who had a crazy clutch, by the way, which I hope we can all just think about that for a moment, how intense that was. But Vidil and Janice, of course, now, yeah, we can see the bottom left. They've moved up now into first place. So when we see the leaderboards, that's going to be good looking for them, even though there's 7 games left, of course.
And it's just impressive to think that Vidil and Giannis just find themselves time and time again in these situations where they just seem as though they're absolutely in control. They never panic, and I think that that's kind of the main shining point here for this duo. And despite the fact that they're not able to close out entirely on another Victory Royale, it still goes a long way for them to hold on to these top 5 finishes over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, third. No, I'm not going to complain. Would you complain about a third place finish?
I mean, he picked them. So.
I did pick them, and of course, we talk about this consistency factor, right? This is why they are so good. Okay, so that was the first thing I want to talk about. We'll take a look at the standings, and I do now want to kind of double back, right? Malabuka and Mustache are currently sitting in 3rd place. They've moved up 5 spots. I think for me, my biggest takeaway is out of this, we talked about it at the top of the show, Malabuka, we know, is one of the greatest to play the game. But for Mustache, he's looking to try and silence everybody else. Everybody that's looking at him saying, yeah, well, Malabuka's just carrying you. Right now, Mustache is saying, that's not true.
No, and they should never, because he's basically one of the best fraggers in the region and in the complete world as well. And it's interesting to me that usually their good games have this exact same thing. It's repetition over and over again. They fight off spawn, they have a mid game, they fight in 4th and 5th zone to refresh their mats, they dunk on everyone in end game. And this is like the first win that I've seen in FNCS that kind of differed from that roadmap that we're used to seeing for them. they ended up not fighting off Spawn because we know they're not contesting anyone. And this is the first time where they've actually done a really good job of setting up, getting tags, getting above the Storm Surge damage, and then being able to play out the rest of the game like that instead. More like a, I'll put air quotes, traditional game.
I also think it went a long way just not having to worry about Tayson and Chapik since they ended up falling relatively early on in comparison to what we've been seeing out of that duo. So for Moustache and Malibuka, I mean, they're more than happy whenever they see their competition get eliminated.
And of course, they've now moved up 5 places, so third. There's still a bit of a gap, obviously, between second and obviously them in third place now. But I'm interested, of course, that gap can bigger, smaller with the large amount of games that we've got left.
I know, man. I do want to highlight in 6th place there, moving up 7 spots, Vico and Jackson, right, doing super well. And I think the thing we have to kind of consider as we discuss them is we have 1 game left to kind of set the stage going into tomorrow.
Yeah, and one of the things I think they did well in this game is there was a home zone for them, right? They're a tilted team, really close. Same with Malibu and Moustache. A lot of the teams who are in this area did really good this game, which is great for, you know, a bit of RNG that if they get it on their side, they can capitalize on that. However, it doesn't really say much about further zones and how that'll play, because we have seen a couple of shaky ones from both of these teams.
I was definitely really impressed, though, with Vico, just looking for that direct challenge against Mr. Savage and Hen, and able to take it as well, despite the fact that he was in a solo position, and it just doesn't really seem to have that much impact against his fragging potential here, because Jackson, he's been out since, like, the 4th Elim here for Vico, so the fact that he's still able to close with 7, still maintain their positioning in the leaderboards, actually shoots them up quite a bit, I should say. And I think that despite the fact that we're seeing a bit of a disparity between 115 points to 162, it's only day 1.
It can close up big time, and we've seen that repeatedly when it comes from day 1 to day 2. But a quick note I want to add in there as well. The fact that Tayson and Chapix lost off drop that time, they moved down only 3 places. I actually kind of thought they would go down more than that. Sometimes, obviously, you're going to see like a -5, 6, 7, but only 3 isn't the worst, but they're obviously starting to trail us.
Elims.
It is the Elims.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. I am getting word. Vidil had quite the way to celebrate their current standings, holding in 1st place.
Let's go! Let's go! I'm not going to mouth the rest of it. It'll be but probably not broadcast friendly if I said what the rest of it to say. Look at this!
There it is.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely crushing it with the dance moves. So as we do
we love it.
as we have this last game, I do want you all at home to consider.
He's still going, man. He's
still going. He's crushing it.
He's just fading away.
That's for you. That's for you.
That's for me.
Love it.
As we prepare for this last game, things to consider. Every time we watch these duos interact with each other, right? Eliminations happen. That's going to be it. A duo falls, no more points on the board. You have to look at game 6 and reconsider coming into tomorrow's games, right? So this is pretty much it. The last one here on the day for the day 1 EU FNCS Finals. Get ready. This one's about to be crazy.
Game 6.
Thank you, Zeke. This is gonna be more than crazy. Tayson, Chapix 4-1 against Podosai X-Squeeze. Malibuka and Moustache bumping themselves up the leaderboard with that most recent victory royale. So many players giving it their all, and we're so close to the end of day 1. But I like saying that because there's still 6 more matches in day 2.
Of course, but we have our eyes set on this one. Of course, the biggest game of the day so far. The last chance, today at least, to show what you can do. Set yourself up for tomorrow's games. Who will be the teams, though, to take advantage? We've seen so many different switches up in terms of things that have happened all around the map, even in some of the off-spawn battles as well. But in the final game, who can keep their cool? Who can hold their nerve?
Who can keep that mentality at an all-time high? The battle bus is ready. So are the players. Let's head into the match. Let's see how this last match of the day unfolds.
Let's see who it will be. We're going from the Daily Bugle all the way over to Greasy Grove. And the players will drop like flies as the game continues.
We can see the even split, but we're gonna keep our eyes on here. It's gonna be Gripe cheated, trying to take shots out of the sky. The player still gliding down. The fly is still yet to reach the ground. But here it is. Tayson, Chapix, X-Squeeze, Podosai. X-Squeeze getting knocked down. Tayson now just 1 shot away from taking out Podosai. Chapix, though, is with a sliver of HP. You could blow on him and take him out, and that's exactly what happened there. Chapix getting knocked down, but Tayson and Chapix now 5-1.
5-1 at North Loot Lake. 5-1 to Tayson and Chapix. Going into tomorrow, if you are Podesite NXWeez, do you leave? Let us know in the Twitch chat. Let us know all over social media. Takata, let me know what you would do.
Look, I'm all about never giving up. And that's what Frey and Flixie are doing here as well. As Flixie's gone down, but Frey has not had enough. He wants to finish this off. He wants to get the last elimination of the day and play the match out. He's not ready to go to bed yet. He's just woken up, and he wants to continue this action forwards. His Force is going to pick up the finish, get that Siphon, bring back up his shield, and now with Force in a dominant position in this engagement, even with his duo partner close by, it might just be enough to make his opponent either have to make a quick play or a disengagement, but he wants the Elim. The pickaxe comes through, the shot connects, 45. Another shot cracking his opponent, and now one away from getting the elimination. The dominance has changed now, as Frey does not connect it, and Force is gonna be the one that comes out on top.
I was actually for a second there thinking, wow, props to Frey. He's really applying the pressure, stopping the revive from happening, taking some shots at his opponent with finesse, and then bam, taken out. Force will be victorious.
Let's see a replay though. What HyChris and Vortex were able to do. We saw them with 2 eliminations. They already have one here, and for that last one, a quick piece and a quick elimination. Good job with the Reality Falls. We saw how this early game engagement was gonna go. Fakey Fremont going against Vortex and HyChris. HyChris and Vortex being the ones showing the dominance currently, but they're looking to keep that going forwards.
The Malibuca mustache. A victory out was always a nice thing to get in an FNCS final lobby. But will it be the highest of the highs for them across this weekend? They'll certainly hope not. They'll certainly hope that they can achieve even more and maybe even leave the weekend victorious.
That's the ideal situation. Leaving the weekend with the crown on your head, but for Percharo, that's gonna be hard if you go down this early in the last match. QB as well gone down though. Now the 1 versus 1 comes through, and nice little quick shots from Cherry there. Take 2 Elims on the board.
Yeah, props to them as well. They've had their fair share of struggles, but winning in the final game is never easy. Oh, dearie me. Hero taking big damage and returning big damage. But not before he falls. Fortunately for him, though, Jerdy was ready and waiting, and they have found their prey. And I'm not too confident about his chances now. I actually think getting coned.
He's trapped him.
He's trapped him in the cone, but I don't think he'll count for much. Jerdy will fall, and Kiro was nowhere to be found as he was already taken out. And a nice little cleanup from Binkin and Ash.
Pink trapped like a mouse. As Art Skill and P-Chips on the other side take out Andylex.
Look, coming into this weekend, there were a lot of people who are on the quote-unquote Andylex hype train, right? The likes of the top analysts in all of Fortnite, and even Reese-Hub was on the hype train. But it just hasn't quite panned out today for those two. But the big thing for them, and the silver lining, right, is that if you know Andylex, if you've been watching competitive EU for a long time, he's the kind of player that always has better day 2s, right? That has always been one of the main tropes, one of the main story arcs of Andylex, is that day 1 might not be too great, but day 2, watch out.
It's a hype train that's still starting the engine. It hasn't started moving yet, and still has another day to do so. But a duo that has been moving, Cherry, already able to pick up 2, but going against ForZR and Kha'Zix, this has been an incredibly dominant duo, especially in the early game. Their end games haven't been going as strong. You can see them in the 25th spot, but their early games, they've been able to get those Elims. Kha'Zix already with 1, but now with the danger of not having a lot of materials, Kha'Zix here might even have to split some before ZR. There it is, drops his wood, and now they're gonna scavenge the way through, try and recuperate what they've lost. But for the duos that already have enough, take these engagements. We have Aware close by. We have Fire Hunter. The engagements come through. The boxes get entered. but nothing big happens yet.
We've seen Synod and Firehunter be disruptors in some of these games. We saw them a couple games ago taking down Clown and Resguard. I believe actually that was last game. I say a couple games ago, but it was last game. This time round though, they will be potentially going down.
Frizzy now forced to pop up some mini shields, but he doesn't need it too much. It'd be better to use those splashes with his duo partner as he hears them come through. Playing it a bit safe, using a lot of materials to disengage there. As JJ2 aware, they're just as healthy now as they continue to find that opening, that option to continue forwards. But it's not just a duo. There are players from afar taking shots, trying to get a piece of the pie, a piece of the action here. And even Synod up top, the solo that's lost Firehunter, but Firehunter has been left behind. Maybe he opens up that option to try and pick him back up if he has the time to get to him. But for Lucia and his duo partner, they might have just heard that, and Synod might have made the incorrect decision.
Yeah, it's just not really an ideal situation to be in. Firehunter falls. Aware and JJ2 clearly very, very much gunning for Veselim. And he's not too far away. They've already sniffed him out and actually have pieced him up as well. And so Synod will fall. But once again, the freezing Lusher right back into the fight. Again, looking to just try and cause an issue for JJ2 and Aware.
And now with that one elimination on the board already, first zone coming to a close, reaching these players. They might use that as the deciding factor to keep rotating, but a nice little cheeky spot from the Frizzy here might actually be able to get an opening. A nice shot. But for Pink and Anas, we saw how they got that Elim. Starting strong, but only 23 builds. We can see they got themselves into an engagement. It seems to have been taking a while. They haven't been able to farm up, haven't been able to get their loot for late game. These refreshes could be what grants them that. They are in the zone, but once first zone closes, if it closes far, they're going to want to finish this quickly. They do have time, but it's more about recuperating what they've lost. Now with only 14 wooden builds for Anas. A vision of the whole map being that high up. They need to make something happen here.
They need to be careful they don't get chopped out. You can see at the bottom there, Stormy Right was looking to try to chop things out. And I think they are finally aware, and so they've started to drop down. But the thing is, they're not working with much in terms of materials whatsoever. So that makes this fight so awkward for them. And even now, Pink looking for an opportunity to chop things out himself.
Dangerous though. They have dropped down. No longer have the danger of being chopped, but now the danger is, what are they going to do next? Even if they get these eliminations, they need to recuperate what they've lost. As Default, Stormy, they're down below. Default still with a lot of shield. Stormy Right gets knocked though. This could be big. Could be huge for Pink and Anas. 2 elims for this duo. Now showing the dominance, the upper hand of this engagement. But they don't want to leave it. They like their muddy ground down below. They want to stay together. They want to stay composed. And they know if they don't make any big mistakes here, they should be able to come out on top.
Default has to be very, very careful. Not just because of Pink and Anas, but because DKS and the Sipsos are rolling on in. And we've seen them in these scrappy fights earlier in games, how effective they can be. Pink is literally trying to farm anything he can right now, because they desperately need some builds. Default is actually still sneaking around. He actually just wants to smoke. He's not even thinking about dipping right now. He really does believe he can take them out as a solo, and maybe he's not too far off. But Pink is aware now. Oh, didn't get the edit off in time.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Default. Not at all. He tried getting the sneaky play, wasn't successful, and now he has to choose. He wants to take the disengagement, but with DKS, the Siptos up above, they'll spot him out as he starts to walk away. But Pink and Anas are continuing to play this safe, play it calm and collected. They don't want to take any risks here. They know how well they're doing. 4th place on the leaderboard. once the Storm Surge refreshes. 863.
That's a lot.
Oh, that's more than enough.
That actually is their surge for the game, like, pretty much done for the most part. They literally just need to leave, farm up, get their materials back to a good point, and they can pretty much just play dead side the rest of the game, and we can expect to see them in endgame looking strong. That is what they should do. Now, will they be able to do that or not? It's a bit different.
Joe and Ziandi, though, continuing to show why they're so high up the leaderboard. 0 elims, but they have more than enough damage. 210 in a great position early in the match. Have the grapple gloves for rotating later. Full charges on them. With materials, with shields, they've got it all.
Yeah, we've seen them take up such great surge positions throughout this day, and that's been no different in this game either. And so for that reason, I expect to see another top-class game from Joe and Ziandi.
Another one. We'll have to see if they're able to do it. Refsguard Clown, though, 30 below. Good news is, with the positioning, we can see a 23 tag. It's not going to be enough, but there's going to be a lot more options. So has to use that line of sight to find the openings. As Vino and Queasy, in 5th place, 471 above. They hear players close by. They know that there's a duo on top. But it looks like the duo on top, Refsguard and Clown, want to choose to get that damage on the duo down below. But do they know that it's Queasy and Vino? Harpoon being used. Looks like they're not trying to trade shots here. They're trying to go all in.
And an all-in for Clown and Refsguard is something we've seen them take onto this team literally last game. If they can take Queasy and Veno out again, that would be an insane turn of events in terms of the standings. This is a team that was in 1st place and now just completely being raid bossed out of the game, out of contention maybe even, by Refsguard and Clown. Let's see though. Vino is renowned as one of the best fighters in the game, but right now with the HP he's working with, there's not really much he can do. He's going to have to rely on Queasy's prowess. Oh my goodness, Refsguard is feeling it right now, but he has to be careful. He can't get overzealous, otherwise he's going to fall just like that. But no, Clown, he comes in and picks up Queasy and Veno in this last game. And so our 5th place team once again going down way too early.
Both players did a great job. Clown got both the elims there, but Refsguard did so much damage. And now for Reason and Noah, they need to do the same. Jerky goes down. That's an elim on the board for Reason. Reinforced walls come in. Want to protect themselves from the 3rd party. And you can tell that these players, they're feeling motivated in this last match.
This is going to be such an intense day 2. I can already tell. It's going to get real feisty. Pink, quick little LM there for the boy. Finally taking out default after how long?
Feels like a century. He was able to stay out. But ultimately, he did go down. As for Merstash and Malibuka, I'm liking what I'm seeing. From the solo clutches to the VRs, to now great positioning and damage. They've really set themselves up great for this last match of the day. And if they're able to close it out strong, that's going to be a confidence booster going into day 2.
Yeah, this has been a team who has shocked a lot of people when they burst onto the scene at the start of this chapter. And now, deep into the chapter, they are very much looking like strong and top. And they've shown that today. But this final game, there's clearly an opportunity for them, right? The team that was above them in the standings in 5th place has gone down. And so certainly the opportunity for Vidil and Janice, though. I've said it a couple times today, but I will repeat myself. Cashing in them scrim bucks.
And it's paying off. I mean, in the 1st place spot. This duo is feeling good. You know what they're cooking up in these bushes? Those angles. Trying to see if they can share some of those bullets with their opponents. As for Strokey now, Kylie, they're forced into a dangerous situation, but how dangerous is it? they're the ones that come out on top above, avoiding those early storm surge ticks, but at any second, the threshold could turn around, putting them below. In here to close it off could be huge. But Nebs and Marine, they know that they're losing HP. They see the storm surge ticking. They get the first knock, and now with wants to connect this last shot. He is low though, and he doesn't want to take any risks. They've already knocked down one. If they're able to recuperate their HP, get the finish, or even close it out. Finish is gotten. Strokey goes down, and now the last player up, trying to make an escape. But Marines fell down below, and Nebs now has taken out Kylie.
That's actually huge because Kylie and Strokey were sitting in 9th place. They were a top 10 team that had the potential to really make waves, shake the lobby up when necessary. This team here definitely is up. Hen and Mr. Savage, the last couple games have actually made it to endgame, right? Considering how they started, right? They started off very, very slow. You already had all the haters going, oh my goodness, Mr. Savage is poking another FNCS final. Things around ever so slightly, right? They're still sitting in means, you know, where they want to be and where they have the potential to be. But clearly starting to find a bit of rhythm.
You know it, Levin. You need a setback to make the comeback. And although they didn't start off strong, the comeback, they still see that little bit of light peeking through the doorway. They just have to open it up and continue playing well throughout this last match and also day 2. But another duo that's kind of been on the borderline. Thomas Trippern dropping in the Rave Cave, having a bit of risky situations off the start, causing them to kind of mess up their mid game, going for reboots, having to refarm, not able to focus on positioning, but now looking strong in this last match of the day. They might be able to close it off, but Rico and Jackson, the duo contesting Mr. Savage and Hen, such a strong loadout, but missing that little bit of damage.
Yeah, this is for sure been an interesting day by way of who's been able to step up. There's been a couple teams who we would have expected to see, probably even in the top 5, who just haven't been able to hit the mark. The likes of Seti and Cammy, Tripp and Thomas. You could even argue the likes of Trulex and Chicha should have been higher up. Of course, we know they've been contested and whatnot. But definitely been some surprise. But again, in this last game, can you make up for what has maybe not been the most exciting of days? That's always the question. For Vico, it's all about making sure that they can keep their high. Down on Surge is never the spot to be in, but they don't have to deal that much damage to get back above it. Because I don't think they know there's some heals up above their boxes. And so they have to start hitting the shots, and now Vico actually will just go down. And maybe Jackson is going to follow him. Just 14 below, it's such an... But they have to deal it.
If only they had a third eye to find those splashes up above. Vico fully eliminated. Jackson, no shield to work with, but he picks up that finish. He gets the spare loot. There was reason.
But most importantly, the damage.
And the damage. Now, up above, but only by 49. This could change quickly as he continues to heal himself back up. Has the med mist in the hand, but with the shots coming, it's going to be very difficult for him to make it to zone here. And a duo that has not been able to do too well in these most recent end games. Not showing up in this day 1.
Closing out strong for Yandy and Joe. The whole day seemingly has been strong for this team, but it is about doing it once more. Tom and looking like a team that maybe has their eyes set on playing hype, or at least being a dominant factor in this game. There's that one. And so Trippin will start to pre-tarp as Thomas will look for opportunities for limbs. Badil and Janice, the first place team, not missing a beat. looking like their best, looking comfortable. Pink and Anas, even though they're not on height, they certainly are a team that has shown, especially this season, that they're strong regardless of what layer they play. And Malibuca and Mustache coming off of a victory royale definitely have what it takes. So many top teams still up alive in this final game. How can I forget Chapix and Tayson, who have just been so good every time they've had the chance to play a game out. And so after finally winning the Battle of Spawn again, they're here in the end game.
All these Titan duos, their last chance to set themselves up for day 2. Pink and Anas, they've had a steady rhythm, but they need to turn that frequency up in this last match. They need to get a big game here if they want to be at the top. Merstash, Malibuca on the same page, 3rd place spot. They continue to target, but not going to take the risk to continue pursuing it. As now up above, Tripper and Thomas, they
teams still remain alive. And they're thriving while doing it. Mustache up. Chapix has to fend as a solo. Tayson has fallen, and he was the one with all of the elims. So we'll see if Chapix can... For Pink and Anas, it's low. Materials not there. And the grapple glove charges are dwindling. Probably just saving that one to be able to use it to grab loot like a harpoon. But for Vidil and Janice, another game where they just look so strong.
looking powerful, looking ready. For Chapix though, Jason, he has to play it alone. Just happening down below. The changes in elevation. Looking to close it off. Cammy gets knocked out. Back to the venue. We'll see you in day 2. Z, Andy, Joe picking up Janice. They were looking strong, but
Andy and Joe have been like a wrecking ball, just taking everybody out that enters their path. The deal is still up in the game, and we know what this guy can do as a solo. Chapix has shown a bit too much to handle for him. I do not know, but Arthur will be the one to take him out. I can't see Thomas and Trippin up on height anymore. They've seemingly been forced back down, and so Joe and Ziandi, another game where they're just in the prime position.
They have the prime position. As Thomas and Trippern now out of materials, you can see 0 builds for Thomas. This is why they gave up the high. They need a refresh. They need to have an opening to get that elimination. But for Ardor, for Mixon, they find an opening. They get one, and the other duo close by. It's Merstash. It's Malibuca. It's a dangerous team to face against as Merstash knocks down 1. Now Malibuca and Merstash reach 6 eliminations, but they're running low on mats.
Yeah, it's not going to be a situation where they can just keep on holding on. They're going to have to make something happen. The zone's moving through so many old builds, and so Joe and Ziandi may not have opportunities to get a limb, but they can just stay alive and wait for everybody to take each other out, just like so. Mustache falls, Nebs falls, Belusi is also falling. They are falling down like dominoes. Thomas and Trippin, who have dropped down, are starting to profit from the demise of all these other competitors. Malibuca still alive in the zone though, and Hydro looking to try and avenge his
second elimination, but has to keep it going forwards. Trippern and Thomas, they've gotten the materials they've lost, but will it be enough to finish it off? Remember that high ground duo, they're alone up there. They're waiting for the party to end. It's Joe, it's Ziandi, the dominance from above. They have to bring it to an end as Trippern now goes down. Thomas left alone, running through the dirt down below. Cheating close by, hits the 86, hits the crack, gets the elim, and Thomas continues moving forward.
This is a scary sight for Malibuca because Thomas is hitting some shots, but we know he can hit them as well. The pressure coming in from above, and so Thomas, who has now fallen, leaves Malibuca alone to try and do the 1v2. What can he do against Yan all day long? And I don't know if they will start to miss one now. It seems like Joe's managed. They're now scurrying around in the zone. They're running out of HP. Oh my goodness! How's Malibuca managed to seem possible? It shouldn't have been possible, but somehow he's made it work. This guy doesn't seem to fail.
Malibuca, are you kidding me? From one solo clutch throughout the mid tournament to another one to close it out in day one. The 1 versus 2. What a way to finish that rhythm.
How on earth making it happen? I actually don't understand it anymore. There is no reason he should be winning that. Oh my goodness, Malabuka. What a player. Like, what a player. Let's look at this. He just got back in the zone. He hit the shot at the end there. And Joe and Ziandi fell. Malabuka Moustache, their second victory royale of the day. And they close out day one in style.
Speechless. That's how this duo has left me. In my head, I was thinking, look, Malabuka, he's got the disadvantage. Both opponents, they have an advantageous position. They have more HP, more shield. It's Joe and Ziandi, two of the best players on EU. Malabuka's done for it. But no, he was just getting started. His frequencies were at an all-time high, and he closed it off with the 1 versus 2.
Some players are just built different, and Malabuka seems to be the kind of guy that is simply built different. I am so impressed by these guys every single time they show up in the lobby, and it's been a pleasure to watch them. It's only... It will be a jam-packed one because the players are playing like that. Look, we're going to send it to the analysts to break down all that we've seen today, but what a day one it's been.
Dude, what the heck? Malabuka Moustache. Okay, if you're just tuning in, viewers, Fortnite fam, come closer. If you're just tuning in, you just saw a crazy game, and I know what you're thinking, like, wow, that was a crazy clutch. But we just watched them get a win last game, and we literally talked. I literally said Moustache is one of those players that is looking, right? The community constantly looks at Moustache and just says, yeah, you get carried by Malabuka, and then he gets a win last game. And then now to get the double back-to-back, Malabuka's like, okay, look, I am also good. Like, it's dang good.
I wish I could just visually just number of games that I've seen Malabuka win by himself. Like, it's actually unbelievable how many solo clutches I have seen him. And it's like, you know, we talk about Thomas HD, he'll solo clutch, get a bunch of points. Oh, it's an amazing play. But Malabuka just seems like game after game after game, when he's a solo, he will win it. Not only just do crazy things, win the entire thing.
The thing that separates, I think, a standard player from a pro is just the ability to maintain your mindset under pressure. And Moustache, Malabuka, neither of them has folded even once when they've been put and make it to that final 3. I'm starting to believe they're just going to take it home every time, because we saw them at one point, Moustache, even with that. The composure that you need in order to actually close out on this. Joe and Ziandi, I mean, a bit unfortunate day for them. Third time coming in second place. Two of them arguably should have been first. Pressure difference, that is really just the element that we see Malabuka and Moustache performing in best.
I'm starting to think I don't even want to see, like, Moustache and Malabuka
They only
together.
win in twos.
Game, because I just think they probably won't win then.
There's no reason. No. There's no reason you should have won that game, Malabuka, and yet you still
because
show
he's crazy.
that you are crazy. Put me in those situations, coach. I'm ready to 1v2.
That's not a good metric. Okay, I thought you meant you. I was like, that's not a good metric.
Not me. I am not Malabuka.
But how do they always back-to-back win? That's the real question. They get one, they get the next.
It's like Levin said, just built different. Okay, we got to do this. This was just the first 6 matches. This is going to set us up coming into tomorrow's games. Let's extremely shocked by this, right? If we take a look at that top 4, considering Moustache and Malabuka, well, Malabuka just pulled off this insane clutch on top.
I mean, there's basically like a 20-point gap between them to start with. Now they've closed that gap, but similarly, like Vadil did good that game, Ziandi did good. All of our top teams were still in it, even though obviously it was overshadowed by the fact that Moustache and Malabuka won it.
The whole top 4, the top 4 on the leaderboard were like just completely there. Like they were all in there, all making deep runs. And again, that's just going to make it so hard to catch up. But when you have special moments like Malabuka's one, you do start to close a gap a bit.
That's the interesting part, right? It's about holding your position in day 1, but also maintaining that confidence for day 2, right? Because now these players, they're going to go to sleep. They're going to wake up tomorrow. their console, their PC, have to do just as well as they did today if they want to maintain that spot at the top.
I mean, something interesting about the top four as well, they're all uncontested. You look at all of these teams, all uncontested teams, and they're still managing to do well. You know, the Storm Surge has been a factor. I've been particularly impressed with Joe and Z Andy. I shouldn't be, because they're amazing, and we know how good they are, but particularly in their consistency. I haven't really seen it from them before, with their consistency, their ability to make those end games, particularly when the zone isn't in their favor. We saw it in that last game, one of the more favorable zones for them, but oh boy, did they make the most of it. Second place, solid.
Let's give some props to Tayson and Chapik as well. They moved up to positions there, up into 5th. You're talking 5-1 now.
Tayson and Chapik might actually be on the verge of having one of the best performances we've seen. A good day tomorrow, which is always possible. I don't think many people expected them to 5-1 today. Interesting tomorrow, I promise you that.
You did.
Yeah, but I mean, we're talking about contention at the same time. Thomas HD and Tripper, and they're leapfrogging 6 spots, actually closing out in that 10th place position, and they had a relatively rough day. Their start was not one that you would expect from this kind of dynamic duo, and yet they're still able to finish strong in that final 10.
The level of stress that I feel is so immense. With that, that's it for just day 1. Season 3 FNCS Finals in Europe. Don't forget, NA East is not that far away, and also you're waiting to watch more Fortnite, go check out Rocket League. All right, the Rocket League World Championship is about to take place, the final set to decide it all. Go check that out. As always, we love y'all. Keep yourselves safe, and we'll see you on that battle bus. Beep, 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 beep. I can always count on it.
That was a standard.
I can always count on it.
you